and I know a lot of folks don't like her, so people will give Andre a pass for that. We have to be fair here. And if Andre did it to anybody else that people didn't like as much or like more, they wouldn't be okay with that. They really wouldn't be okay. He's just as bad as she is. He's attention seeking. He's wearing childlike hair and he's acting like a child. And it's completely messed up. And then for anyone who's going to say he went behind stage and was like, Jeffrey, she stopped talking to me first. Well, then why didn't you say that on stage? You know why? Because that's not what happened. He's full of crap. If Jeffrey's full of crap, so is he. So, I just think it's a mess, and hope she learned a lesson and knows that anybody who wears Powerpuff hairstyles is not your biblical husband. So I hope lessons are learned all the way around.
Well, before we let Sophie go, we got another round coming through, and we know our good old girl JJ is going to not hold back. She is a force to be reckoned with. She might be on our side, she might not be. We don't know. We'll never know which way she goes, but when we hear her, we know it. So Jay, come on through.
She may not be able to hear you.
I'm here, but y'all go ahead.
Sophie.
Sean. Oh, he said so. I'm like, I couldn't hear Sean. Hello. So yeah, I agree with Seaway. I believe Andre was never serious in this whole game. I think I said this a while back that this was more about publicity than it was about anything else for his business, possibly. And he got caught up in the attraction with Jeffrey. They were both kind of playing romantic, a little romantic, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, escapade. And it was all fluff. It was nothing real, meaning it was nothing that was based off reality. So once the cameras left, my perception is once the cameras left, the reality hits. He did say we'll talk about it, after the camera started rolling. He wanted to get serious. And yeah, maybe he just realized, like JR said, that he has to financially take care of all the children and her probably and him. And the load was probably way bigger than he expected. Personally, I don't think he was serious. I don't think he was. I think he thought he was just going to ride this wave out, just date her like he's dated a lot of younger women, 23-year-old women. He's used to just having, surface level relationships. Um, yeah, I think it was very bogus for him to kind of be like, well, where are the fathers at now? What's going on? And kind of pull the rug up underneath her right after the camera started rolling. That was definitely bogus, and it was maybe a way out. I believe Jeffrey also was not ready. There's a lot of hidden things that she has, and just the fact that her voice changes from the sweet baby, soft spoken voice to this now deep, pretty aggressive and nonsensical, not having it, um, voice. It was too swift of a change. So I feel like maybe she needs to step back. There needs to be some clarity with what happened to the fathers, why they're not in their lives. If she can have a clear story for the next man she's going to meet, I think that would help her develop a better relationship. Instead of they're not in the picture, it was just a lot of cloudiness about what happened, what went wrong. I think she's jumping probably from relationship to relationship. So she needs to go back, fix whatever she needs to fix with those men so that they are in their children's lives, even if you don't have a good relationship with them, for the sake of the kids. Co-parent that, and just have a clear story when you're meeting your next partner. Have a clear explanation of what happened. Not this, I gifted him my child. I gifted him a child. What does that mean for all of us, whether we're dating you or not? That sounds just ridiculous, right? You just happen to lay down, take a sperm, and then get pregnant, and now you're giving him a baby, Sean. But that's what happens, right? And it's like, what? You gifted him a child? Okay, all right. So let's go back to what really happened. You dated him, you didn't like him anymore, but y'all had sex and you got pregnant. So I think honesty really helps in serious relationships and moving forward.
Mhm.
So both of them had hidden agendas, maybe, or not very clear agendas. And so now they're like exploding. It was really crazy to see them be like, she's like, I can't stand him. And he's like, oh, well, he was just offended too. It was weird.
Yeah, no, I think that either they wasn't really having deep conversations because they couldn't get past the baby bites and play dates that they were having with each other, and yeah, so it was confusing to me. And then she also touched on the fact that he felt like she might be keeping the fathers out of the children's lives.
Mhm.
So that point came up too, which I thought was very interesting. And I didn't know if he just threw that up in the air, but that's when we really heard Jeffrey's voice get real deep. We heard her voice because like, hey, now wait a second. What you not gonna do is
Because he
talk
didn't
about my
provide any
motherhood
support
skills.
for that. He didn't provide any support for that. That was kind of a bold thing to throw out and provide no support, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know where it came from, but I know she definitely was not thrilled about it nonetheless.
Because that was inflammatory. If you're gonna say I'm keeping fathers away from my kids, I need you to cite your source and let me know why you're saying that. Because if it does turn out that these two fathers just want nothing to do with her, the kids, or both, you know what I mean? Then you look kind of stupid for saying that. That's kind of effed up. That's not something you assume. Now it could be true. It could not be true. You know what I mean? But I thought that was wild to say with no additional language behind it.
Well,
But
I
you,
would say
but
she opened the window for inflammatory statements when she
exactly.
when she took down all the black men
Hmm.
with her. Black men, that's what they do. You
Also
know,
inflammatory. Also,
yeah.
never
So I
thought they
guess
were.
he was
Yeah.
just matching wits with her.
Hmm. And let's be real, like when they were at they the conversation actually took place when they were at dinner after the show. They went on a date and he asked her about the children's fathers. How comes they're not playing a role in their lives? So it wasn't something that he just brought up on the stage. It was a conversation they had previously, and that's what caused them to break up. So I just thought I'd throw that in for context as well. Go ahead, Jay. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm cool, thanks.
I'm just shaking my head to that part right there because if that's the case, then why are we complaining about whoever didn't call who within the 2 weeks? Because
Definitely.
she said that there's no date afterwards. That conversation was had to be during the taping because according to her, they didn't speak after filming, and 2 weeks later, she called him to say that she was coming into town.
But
Now,
she also said that they went out to dinner.
yeah, but they've been going out to dates whenever. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't sit here and say through this whole course of this show, this woman who has been talking about her children, he does not have never heard about anything about the baby fathers unless you had no intent to even get that far with her to even question her about where the fathers are. So that's on him. That is definitely on him. So for him to get up on this stage and act like this is all a big problem when we know you knew about it because the sisters asked your sister asked her, where are the fathers? And she said right there in front of you, Cynthia, your niece, and your sister, and said, they're not around. They're not in the picture. So if you didn't do a follow up sometime after that conversation and say why they're not in the picture, now, where I give him credit is because when he did say, is I keep asking her and she won't give me a straight answer. That's on Jeffrey. That's on her, because she should be able to give you a straight answer on why the kid's father is not there, whatever the case can be, especially if she considers you as a partner for the future. That is a serious conversation that you guys need to have. I need to know if the daddy's in prison. I need to know if he's on drugs. I need to know if he's just not showing up. I need to know if he's DOA. Like, I need to know these things if you want me to take the spot of help raising your children. This is a conversation that we need to be having. So my question always been, from the time he sat here and said it, he asked these questions, is when did you ask? And did you do all the follow-up behind it? Because if you ask these questions, then okay, that's on Jeffrey. But if you never asked, or you sat here and waited until after the show to decide that all of a sudden I want to ask you these questions and I don't like the answer, then that's on you. But you two grown adults that's supposed to be having these conversations. You're her biblical husband. Why don't we know all this information before we even get to decision day? So both of y'all was on that BS. Let's be honest. Both of y'all was on that BS. Okay. So like, that's on him. I'm with Seaway on this part only because he allowed Jeffrey to narrate most of the conversation. When they're asking him the question about why they stopped talking or why they're not dating anymore and all this stuff, Jeffrey continuously jumps in and he never checks that to sit there and say, hey, no, that's not right. That's not it. He just sits there and laugh. So it's hard for me to believe at the end when he's telling Mark Anthony, our reason I stopped talking to her is because she ghosted me, basically. She stopped calling me. But on the flip side, we already know how petty he is, in particular how he is when he don't get phone calls. So on the other side, I can also see Jeffrey getting back to her regular life, focusing on her kids, whatever voiceover acting career that she got today, some shit might come up and stuff. And she got to sit here and get on it and, got to tune that voice up so she can get back on her. So you guys want my 3 kids or not? Because I just want you to know if you can really take over for me, okay? Because you're my biblical husband. And she stopped calling her biblical husband. And so right now he mad, he petty. And I'm pretty sure when she called and said, hey, I'm gonna be in your town for this event coming up, he either did not answer or played nonchalant and just kind of ghosted her afterwards. I've been there before, so I already know how that petty back and forth go. You get months before you see each other, talk to each other and all that stuff. So these 2 people just play too much. Y'all just wanted to make it to the end so he could show his ankles and she could reveal her real country accent. And here we are. The only thing that grew out of this relationship is that bun on top of his head.
Okay. I don't even know what to say. Is there anything left to say?
Let me just say
I
this,
think
though.
we're good with the case closed on that one.
Wait, I'm gonna give Jeffrey out all the credit right here, because she had my heart dying and my abs intact for that shit when she sat there and said, you have grace to sit in front of me right now. You need to be grateful. I must have died. Shit.
That man said, I'm not.
Delusional personified.
Wait, but she said that with the straightest face. She looked at him too. She said, you need to be grateful you in my presence right now. I said, oh.
Ridiculous.
Jeffrey got a little Leo in her.
She definitely does. You're right. That's that Leo. I'm glad you said it.
I was tickled. I was surely tickled. That had me dying. He made me laugh, though. His comeback was everything. I'm surely not.
I just think when you're dating, in my opinion, I haven't dated with kids, so you guys who have kids can chime in on that. I just think there's some big things that you want to kind of get out the way, even in the beginning stages. And I just feel like Jeffrey did give enough for him to give ask some type of clarifying questions. And if that meeting with the dinner and the sister, where she said the dads aren't around and the sister was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are you doing? If that wasn't enough to ask clarifying questions before you did all this grand display, then I just personally don't understand. Like, again, I know people don't like Jeffree. She has a fake voice. She's a bit delusional. She's all the things. But she did say, as it pertains to this kid issue, I have kids and the fathers aren't around. And she said that in front of his family and in front of his face. And I just don't understand why at no time before he made his grand gesture, he tried to get to the bottom of that situation. I don't know that she had to give more information than that if he didn't ask. Because if I say I got 3 kids and the dads aren't around and you like, cool, I'm like, okay, cool, then we done with it. Like what more do you want? That's just my opinion. I just don't. How much more do y'all want her to divulge? I feel like that's a lot. It's kind of embarrassing in and of itself. I just don't know how much more she was supposed to say. Because if I was serious and I'm Andre, I'm gonna be like, so why aren't they around? Do they not want to be around? Do they know where you live? Do they want to know where you live? Have they tried to contact the kids?
I think, Seaway, that it is best that she gets to a place where she's not embarrassed to say what's happening, right? She's not embarrassed, even if if they're deadbeat fathers, to be in that place to accept that and say that. At least it's the truth, right? Instead of just they're not around, there's always going to be this this blank that people are going to speculate that she's hiding things, or she's preventing the fathers from interacting with the kids, etc. I think when you stand in your truth, as embarrassing as it may be, I think it'll give other people more respect towards you, and you don't have anything else to fall back at that place. Once you divulge in the truth, if he wants to stay, he can stay. If not, he can leave. I don't think Andre was ever interested.
You're right. He's not. He wasn't. And you're right about that. I think Jeffree in a perfect world should do exactly what you're saying. Because when you spill your own bull crap, when you put it out on Front Street, no one can hold that over you and say nothing. But looking at it from his lens, I'm saying if a woman says that to you and you have no follow-up questions, then you were never serious. And it's not fair that you use that later as if you were under the pretext that you were serious and you did care about that issue, because you didn't. Because you're right. Most people who care will have all of those follow-up questions to try to understand the situation, and he didn't. I just don't like when people are fake. Like, stand on your own too. I was on this show and I don't know, something about her wasn't sitting right with me. I didn't want to be with her no more. Just say that. You really don't owe nobody nothing. You're not married to her. But to get on there and try to say, kind of like degrade her in that sense about her kids or whatever, when you really didn't care about it before, that doesn't sit right in my spirit. That's the part I don't like. He could have just said he wasn't feeling her no more. Still would have been suspect, but that would have been more appropriate. I don't like degrading her when you were on bull crap the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because she gives as good as she gets. In fact, she gives more than she gets. So I get it. There's there has to be both sides of the equation examined. But this was probably always going to end this way, in hostility, in back and forths and arguments. Doesn't matter what reason he gave, she still wouldn't have been happy, and I don't think many people would. But at the end of the day, he wasn't feeling her no more. He gave his reasons, and she just has to accept it. She may be a bit butthurt, ego might be bruised, but it wasn't for him anymore. After the cameras stopped rolling, that was it. Done. But they both had opportunities to date other people, and that's who they chose, and it didn't work out. No harm, no foul. Just move on to the next now.
Yeah, I think we did get a bit of honesty from her at the tail end when she mentioned, one, that he used that as an excuse to get away from her. and I'm paraphrasing because those weren't her exact words, but pretty much he leveraged that as a way to get away from her because I don't really think that's what it was. I don't think it had anything to do with those three kids because if that was going to be a deterrent, it should have been a deterrent up front because it's not like she was being secretive about it. So he definitely used that as a way to get out. And look, very early on in the process, it didn't sound like their connection, went on for much longer after the show ended. So he just, he bounced on out. And then she said the mistake that she made was not giving some of the other guys a chance on the show. So I don't know if that's the biggest lesson she could learn, but at least she's taking something away from it. So we'll take what we can account. We'll take what we can get when it comes to her. And I just think that it's unfortunate because whether they were clips or not, she still doesn't seem to be like a nice person. When it got to other couples and when it got to Sue Ann and Blake, meanwhile, nobody said anything about her. They didn't make any slick remarks or any shade. They're talking about their relationship and where they are today. She had to have her little faces going on. So to me, that just tells me that she's still, you know, she's still not, she got some healing work to do. But, as we segue on, what do y'all think about Susu and Blake making a go at it?
I'm all for it. Um, you know, Blake probably had the villain tag for most of the season, and I think he's been consistent with who he is. I haven't seen the possessive or any of the accusations that were leveled at him initially. I haven't seen those manifest yet, and Suan and him seem like two level-headed people. So I'm all for it. Don't know if it's gonna last, but so far it seems to be working.
Okay. Anybody else thoughts, Susu and Blake?
I, I have something to say. I feel like she's into him more than he is into her, and that usually, I don't know. I don't know if that ends up being a good thing. At the end, I think it has to be equal. I think they're kind of putting about their best face forward and don't want any drama, don't want any nothing to tail them back into their careers. So I think they're putting their best face forward. She might be more into him than he is into her. I don't think he's serious. Um, Maybe he's covering up his emotions because he's on TV. I don't know. It's still a big question mark. It is the beginning stages. Supposedly she's not moved in, but she keeps her clothes at his house. She said, and but yet there's no engagement. There's no, I love him. He loves me. Like usually you'll see a lot more like connection and chemistry. They just seem like they're very safe with one another, and it might not be genuine. It might just be like, let's just do this in front of the cameras. So I don't really believe it to be a strong connection.
I think they were one of the most equally yoked couples as far as like life's logistical matters. So I understand why they ended up together because just place in life, what they want out of life, how they want to conduct themselves in public and private, things like that. Logistically, I think they make sense, and I think it seems like they're handling their relationship in a kind of a logistical manner. I don't see a lot of the fluff, but maybe they're not fluffy people. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're still together. But I do respect them giving it a real go and not wasting our time on this TV like the couple we just mentioned, and actually like trying to see if it will work. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. But at least they're, trying to see. I give them credit for that. But I will say, and the haters in the comments can come on because I know y'all getting y'all fingers ready. I personally, after watching Kojo's interview with Blake, maybe this is the litigator in me. Maybe I listen to people differently because of my profession. He did a masterful job of ducking, dodging, and squirming out of and redirecting Kojo, who's very good at not being redirected in so many questions. It was so hard to get a direct answer, and he did it so much better than I've seen other people who try to squeam and squirm out of questions. And that was something that I noticed all throughout the interview that I think was going over a lot of people's head. I saw a few people who saw it, but it was flying over so many people's heads. And if it was
Hello?
flying over people's heads, then imagine what he's doing with
Hello?
women. JR, you're not muted. JR, you're not muted. There you go. Yeah, imagine, how he acts in his dating life. So I think Sue-Ann is a good match for him, and I don't know how long he will be able to do those things in their relationship, but I saw it and I peeped it, so there's just that. But I wish them the best.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the deflection, and I think that is the investigator in him that can predict questions. But can we get a my bad for not seeing the malignant cancer? Because deflecting from a question don't make you a malignant cancer. It makes you someone that's guarded and not wanting to reveal your whatever the truth is or whatever's being asked of you. But we saw some skyrockets on other folks, but we still haven't heard what Mr. Blake has done to be called out as a malignant cancer by Morgan. So can we at least just get a my bad or something? What y'all think about
At
that?
the conclusion of the interview, at the conclusion of the reunion, sorry, I can't talk. If they don't address that issue, and she doesn't address it, then I would say that Morgan was wrong for calling him a malignant cancer. I don't need a my bad. I always said I'm waiting to see what else is going to happen. But if they don't address it, then it's going to be safe to say that Morgan was wilding and putting 10 on 2 like she tends to do, and he didn't deserve that. But that's going to have to be deferred, Sean, to the end of the
Listen, I'll take a deferral. It's the willingness for me, so I'm good.
I'm just
Jay, I
trying
know
to
you
figure out
haven't chimed in. What do you think? What do
No,
you
I'm
think
just trying to
about the
figure out
whole
what
Sue-Ann?
y'all think, who y'all is when you say what y'all think about that, because I wasn't on that team. So
No. I wasn't lumping you in
no.
there. That was just a general statement. I don't want you
Man,
to take me out. I like when you talk to me nice.
no, you actually like when I talk to you rough. You like that. You like when I talk to you like Tony, when I get aggressive.
Okay. Don't tell all our secrets on this live here, Jay. Come on now.
Whoa.
Like when I get aggressive and snatch you by your lace front.
Actually not.
Pull me by my beard.
Pull you by your beard. Pull you by them glasses. Put a string around them glasses and pull you by them. Nah, these two, like I'm with Seaway, they're on paper, they line up. Okay, this is not maps, this is not LIB, so I'm not expecting them to get married. Everybody watch this show like people are just supposed to get married at the end of it when they leave with each other and all this stuff. It's a dating show. They're supposed to find a relationship. So if they decide that they want to give it a go, I'm all for it. Look, everybody was on Camille and Cornelius. I can't tell you if they a real couple or not, but they still a couple. Okay, they are still a couple at this time. And I told y'all before, when everybody decides, if you have somebody and your person gets voted off and you decide that you're gonna leave because your person got voted off, I'm with you, because to me that at least tells me that you're trying to give it a real go, whether it is real or not or whatnot. I'm gonna be with you. I don't know you. I don't know these people. I can only tell you what I see on the TV. And if you say my person is leaving, I'm leaving with them, I'm all for you. I feel like you actually found somebody that you want to at least try with. And so I wish them the best. Good luck. If she can understand half of his stuff and pin him to a wall, kudos to it. It seemed to be working in a lot of their conversations that we've seen them and when they were on their dates together. She got her little quirky side. He understands. He got his ring around the rosy side. She seems to get to the middle of the posy. So it works for them. They both kind of like in the same field. They could be a future power couple of some sort or whatever, or be best of friends or good business associates. I don't know what's going to come of this relationship, but kudos to them. I'm glad they still going forward.
Sean, do you mind if I take 5 seconds like you did yesterday?
No, go for it. Go for
I
it.
just need 5 seconds. I just want to say, as we continue with this live, because I've been sitting on this for a minute, I'm going to pull my Sean moment like he did on Friday. This is not a safe space for any of you in the comments to say, I'm like Morgan, I'm like Jeffrey. You guys don't know me. And for the folks that do know me, know that I have never disrespected anyone on this panel. I've never called anyone a malignant cancer. I've never called anyone outside their name. I am nice to everyone, kind to everyone, and I try to be fair. So, for the folks continuing to call me out my name, say I'm like these people, like you guys know me, this is not a safe space. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen, but this is your literal only warning. You can disagree with me. I think it's fine to disagree with me. You do not have to agree with everything that we say, but you're going to have to do it respectfully. And you cannot speak on people on the panel like y'all know us, because you don't. And we don't know you. And the ones that have met me know I'm kind to everyone that I meet. So let's not do it, please. It's really starting to get on my nerves.
All right. And on that note, Seaway got a call. we got saved by the bell for the rest
That's
of the
God. That's God. Tell us, see, wait, don't worry about these people in the comments. I got them, baby. Don't worry about it. They miserable anyway.
JR, any final thoughts? We know you about to catch flights, not feelings, in a little bit. So come on, what you got for us?
Well, yeah, like I mean, Blake and Sue-Ann are, they haven't shown the toxic traits of some of the other couples. I think that's down largely to trying to save face because of what they do for a living as well. They both have children as well. So, they keep up an image. Both of them don't want to necessarily come across as being rattled or being, acting out of character. Because we've seen Blake in plenty of situations which could have got heated. And he mostly maintained his composure. I never saw him flip out once. And, Sue-Ann's had a few tussles with Jeffrey and a few other on a couple of occasions. And she seemed to maintain her composure too. So maybe they have a few similarities in personality as well. But like I said, I'm not mad at their connection because it does seem that they've lasted longer than some of the other couples who chose each other at the end. They didn't make it that far. But some of the couples actually made it and had the big fanfare and chose each other. They're not together anymore. So, yeah, hope it goes well for them.
Got it. Anything from you, Sophie?
No, I think I saw some comments that said, Blake is a private person. He's very private. My thing is, why get on a show like this? Being such a private person, it's going to require some level of transparency. If you know yourself, if you know you can't, you don't want to expose so much about yourself on national television to be part of this process, then you should reconsider. I think that's what kind of, I like people that are reserved. Being reserved is a wise thing to do. But when you get on a TV show like this and still maintain a certain level of being reserved and not so transparent, it gives people, doubt. And why is he here? Why. But he did meet his match. Sue-Ann is very similar to him. Yeah, we can. That was my only concern. I would not try out to be on a reality TV show if I'm a private person. That's kind of like an oxymoron. Why are you getting on national television to find love, to date multiple people? This is a very unorthodox process, which will allow you to be very vulnerable and open. You've seen season after season after season that you can't really hide from the cameras. They're going to get you. And so, yeah, maybe that was not so much hiding, but maybe just holding back so much. Again, I don't agree at all with what Morgan said at all. How she called him out, that was out of that was just, that she has a reckless mouth, as we can see. But him being a private gave way to people to question him in the beginning.
What was the question, Sean? I'm sorry, I had to take a call. I missed it.
Oh no, everybody else was just sharing the rest of their thoughts about Sue-Ann and Blake. That's it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think. Listen, some people are going to be who they're going to be. Some people can separate themselves from their job, and some people can't. I think he is very guarded. He's a guarded person. And sometimes it's because you've been hurt. Sometimes it's because you want to guard what you don't want to be exposed. But I did hear in his interview with Kojo, he's starting a podcast. So I'll be interested to see how that's going to go with him being a guarded person, because it's very hard, because eventually you get up bumping your gums, on these YouTube waves. Things you might think might not come out don't come out, so I'll be interested to see how that one goes on. But yeah, y'all, he's starting a podcast, so look out. He wants to talk about men's issues and men in relationships and being healthy. So yep, get your like, share, and subscribe ready for Blake if you're interested. Which I'm sure we might have a few that will not be signing up, but that's okay. But anything else, Blake? I mean, oh my God, Seaway, forgive me. Anything else on Blake before we move on?
No.
Well, at least I didn't call you Jeffrey or Morgan. That would have been the massive.
God forbid, because some of these folks still think I'm playing with them. I'm not at all.
Listen, y'all, please leave Seaway alone. She has a heart of gold, She has a heart of gold, And from someone that has tussled with her several times, it's never gotten dark. So trust me, she's a good person. She's just telling you how she feels. She's telling you her opinion from her perspective. And that's that on that, like we all do. So, let's just be nice. We want to be nice. So I think we are ready to move on from Jeffrey, Blake, Sue-Ann. I think we can go. But I will say, look. What I'm going to say about Sue-Ann is I'm here for her, because she's like me sometimes, like in a way, like sometimes you just want to move on. And I love that when asked about the Advocate Sue comment, she was like, well, I'm an attorney. And that's all we're going to talk about when it comes to that, and I'm just glad that she didn't get into a back and forth up there and have an ugly, exchange, with anybody else in the cast. So, I do appreciate her for not acknowledging it. Sometimes you can, but listen, I'm not saying every time we need to ignore folks either, because.
And that was a real classy and lighthearted response.
Yeah.
And I think it even though Jeffrey like meant it for bad, it kind of was funny. The Advocate Sue with the and hell, they don't call me Advocate Seaway in here, and you're Advocate Sean now at this point.
I'm Advocate Kirsten. I'm Advocate for Kirsten. And Married at First Sight.
So sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself. You know what I mean? Like some stuff ain't that deep. That was funny. So she took it well.
Yep, she definitely did. So who is next? Who's next that we want to talk about? We got we can deal with Mark Anthony and Mercedes?
Well, they didn't have a thing except for they're sitting up under
Well,
each
I mean, we could just touch on lightly how, because there's been a lot of, a lot of conjecture about are they still, fooling around in the background.
Well, I guess we'll see that next week because we didn't get nothing from them right now.
But from what we see, I mean, I think, was it Grace? Somebody in the chat. Yeah, I mean, it looks like I deserve my flowers for what I said, but we're gonna wait and see. Looks like she did all that to sit up under him, but again, it could be just for whatever.
I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to say about most of it because she's sitting up under him. Morgan and Lyndon holding hands, and Tony all up under Marcia. So if we're going off of all these body languages, we all be confused all day about who doing what with what.
Why was Tony under Marcia though? I feel like that was the biggest red flag.
Trying to get back at Morgan some more, trying to make her feel some more type of way. But I'm like, the way her and Lyndon was holding hands from a distance and smiling at each other, I was like, I don't think she's feeling too much of a way with you right now.
I sense that Mark Anthony is very hands-on and physical. I've noticed that since like the beginning. So I think that's just part of who he is. He's very touchy-feely, even like on their first dates with Jeffrey, with Mercedes, with the other women. I think he had 2 women on the side. He had his hands around them. I think that's just kind of how he operates.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, if I was making a connection with somebody and we just decide to end it on mutual terms or whatever and stuff, regardless of what we're doing in the background, because we grown, for all y'all that want to be all up in our bedroom. Okay, but I'll still be sitting on his lap. I'll still be cozy with him. Hell, I got friends that I do the same thing with. So if we single, we can intertwine any kind of way we want to, platonically or not.
But that's an odd, Jay. The fire.
Why is it odd? Like, listen.
I'm gonna tell you. I think you're gonna agree. We could do it in private. But I don't think you or I want to be publicly linked to no dude on no stage that we not with.
Baby, listen, them DMs still gonna hit. Them DMs still gonna hit. They go like, I see you dismissed him, shawty. Like, what's good? Child, they could see you with a man on your page, hugged up, booed up, talking about I'm with my baby 12 years strong. And they still gonna slide in them daggone DMs, okay?
That is true, but I'm not claiming no man on no stage I'm not with. I don't want to do it. My pride ain't set up like that.
No, I do feel you or whatever, but like I say, if I don't have no hard feelings toward you, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna be like a Morgan. Like, I'm not gonna do it with Tony. Like, we've been beefing. We got beef. But if we end it and we still cool, we still friends, I ain't seen you in a minute. Yeah, I might still show you some attention, some love or whatever. Heck, I might even be trying to reconnect something. I don't know. I ain't seen you in a minute. You look grown. How you doing? You're grown up now.
So, Sean, I think we're gonna have to wait and see. But people do want to talk about the blue Kayla V triangle. That's what the people are waiting
triangle,
on.
That damn thing to turn to a square octagon. Blue was attached
to pentagon. It's a pentagon and a square cell.
Like, you ain't right, Sean.
Blue was in dimensions.
Okay, yes, we could definitely move mosey right on along the yellow brick road, right on down to Blue. And who was he with on the show? I done forgot.
No, wait, but that's what I'm about to say, Sean. Not trying to go first or anything like this, but they was talking about how Jeffrey was connected to damn near everybody but Tony, but Blue was down there connected to everybody but whoever went off on can't even say whoever went off first, because maybe Natasha too, hell, but definitely connected to Z.
You want to know why?
Because he quiet.
And what's the other reason?
I don't know. He kind of mind his business, but
that scam likely. That scam likely.
Oh, that scam likely definitely was hidden. He Nigerian, low key Jamaican. Shoot. No disrespect to y'all Nigerians out there. Y'all know half of y'all legit and half of y'all scammers. Y'all know y'all people.
They're gonna be in the comments at you next. You're gonna have to get your 5 minutes.
Right. That's all right. My baby Nigerian. My baby Nigerian.
You better watch it.
My baby
She's gonna need her 5 minutes left.
You go get yourself a comment section dedicated right to you.
Yeah, we can get 5 minutes. It's been like 2 years we ain't addressed none of this bull crap. People
First of all, if they hit me in the comment section, I'm gonna be scared to reply back. They might scam my account. They might get me.
Hey, not you doubling down. Oh no. I cannot.
Have y'all ever had those phishing emails that are from the Nigerians?
I get them
okay,
from,
guys, let's go.
Okay, let me stop because I was about to go on.
They really were Nigerian. They're getting good. They're getting really good with them phishing emails. So if you guys get them phishing emails, please look at the email before you reply. And don't send them no gift cards. They got this. I'm not gonna put the business out, but they did get somebody that I know, a young person. You got to be real careful.
Look,
they'll use like
my friend.
They'll use the most senior person at your job, whether it's like whatever, like the highest executive or whatever, and they'll put those names in the email thread and be like, I need 3 gift cards right now to send to a client. And if you're not looking, these folks just be sending it.
Thank you, RC girl, because India and them Arabs be scamming on too, because they done got my friend. Yeah, I gotta watch it on IG.
It's also them, but the ones that were doing this fishing, they were Nigerian. Because
they was Nigerian.
They were Nigerian.
Wasn't the 2 guys that was with Jesse Smollett? No, they was African. Never mind. Oh no, that's Nigerian. They were let me turn my camera off.
Well, first of all, Nigerians.
Kojo, I'm trying to find the allegedly. I can't find the pattern.
My allegedly is always up there. My allegedly is always up there.
Eyes getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Why is Nigeria catching strays right now? Because Blue is Jamaican.
Blue is Jamaican, and somebody in the comments.
Fishing and scams. We've gone down a rabbit hole. Can we get back to Blue? And y'all have gotten so deep in this conversation. I forgot who Blue's connections were. Clearly he's with Kayla.
Okay.
By the way, stop the show, because who told y'all up here? So I want my props right here. Who told y'all Blue was about to be with Kayla? And I was like, no. Somebody threw out Tranika. Y'all throwing out all these other people. I was like, nope. It's Miss Kayla.
You said it first. And then I said it. Then I said it.
But I will send you guys a thing I left on somebody else's post some days ago that said Kayla as well. But I wasn't here for that, Sean. So y'all ladies apologize to Sean. I'll wait.
I wasn't here.
I just need a smile or a wink. I don't need an apology for that.
How did you figure it out, Sean? How did you know? How did you get the insights?
Well, just process of elimination. And I did hear, because we had chopped it up a little bit with her. She had been on Kojo's channel. This was, I think, during the last season. And then she had kind of hinted that she was talking to somebody from the current season. So she definitely didn't say who. She was very tight-lipped about that, But yeah, there was a little breadcrumb she dropped.
You figured out the Blue's clues.
Yes, no pun intended.
If V is telling the truth, where she's allegedly gonna say that Blue asked her to come on there and fake a relationship, it's quite possible that this whole thing with Kayla was also a part of a fake relationship. But the question would be is why? What is Blue trying to do? Like, why does he need a relationship on TV? Like, what is it about? I mean, I don't really get it. What does he gain from that?
Well, somebody in the comments said you have to have money in order to own a monkey. So remember he had a monkey pet, a pet as a monkey. Did you guys?
Y'all act like that's a horse. That thing ain't expensive.
Well, I'm just.
all he had to do was get a permit. That's all he needed to do.
But I think maybe to promote his business, he has some type of lounge. I mean, again, any type of publicity is, better than no publicity at all. So that could be just for clout. I mean, he might be a big time womanizer. You never know. He might be that undercover, I'm a nice guy in the front, but really he might be playing more women behind behind people's backs than Tony is. He might be just an undercover player
But
instead
it's
of an
but
obvious one.
Sophie, that's the thing that I was trying to get at about Anthony, and I'm not trying to equate Anthony with Blue. But in my experience, a lot of the more quiet guys that people just deem to be good guys because they're quiet usually have a lot up their sleeves, especially when they have money.
Right.
And I think Blue's quiet, mysterious vibe, and just his like laid back chill drew people in. But you see what he was up to,
Right.
allegedly. And I really don't even have to say allegedly because he's convicted. I mean, he pled guilty already to this PPP scam. I'll say allegedly because it's Kojo's channel, but I mean, he already pled guilty. I just don't understand why he didn't turn himself in to serve his time and had to let the marshals come pick him up, allegedly. That's just all just
He
crazy.
had to serve time? Oh my God. I didn't, this is news to me. I didn't know that.
2 years, 2.5 years, allegedly, because it's Kojo's channel. And then 5 years he has to be on the Fed's version of like monitoring, like it's restricted release.
So this was more than just the regular PPP. This was, he must have gotten a lot.
Over $500,000 allegedly, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're gonna reap what you sow. You got to be careful.
Which is the threshold. A lot of the PPP scammers that stayed under a certain threshold, the government either hasn't got to them yet or is letting them go. But when you're in six figures, you can't steal 6 figures.
No. And you can't go under the radar with 6 figures. So that, again, like you said, Seaway, it's that hidden stuff underneath. And maybe this was a way for him to pay that back, being on national television. I don't know. But the way Jonique went off on him, I was like, wow, what happened? When I guess he called her after she eliminated they eliminated her, and it was, that was very surprising to me.
It was because he was caught being a liar. The reason why is, and it was kind of said low key, is that a lot of the men in the lounge who were cool with Jonique, because Jonique was cool with most of the people, told her that although he was one of her main connections, he was one of the main people who didn't want to use the lifeline. And
right.
then instead of owning up to it, he called her after the fact and was like, no, that wasn't true. When in reality, it was true. But to be honest, she don't need to be with him no way, because you see what's going on. But it is very frustrating for somebody to lie in your face. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, everyone knows what you said in the lounge and you're lying about it.
Well, I don't even think he admitted to saying that it wasn't true. He definitely admitted to saying that he was trying to hit her up afterwards, and she was like, he was basically trying to do it that they can date. Now that she's not on the show, they can date for real or whatever, being that he would only be dating her and she would only be dating him instead of all the other guys or whatever. So he was definitely trying to pull a move. But let me count all the people he was linked to. So on the show, we know he was with Jeffrey. He had Marcia. He had Jonique. He had Z, apparently. Who else was there? We didn't really see him a connection with anybody else, but it's really no telling who else outside of that, because sometimes we don't be seeing all these dates that they actually go on. So he could have made some other connections elsewhere, but those are like the 4 and 5 with Kayla, people that we know we seen him with.
You got to really vet people out. I think they should have like scenarios involved into this show. There needs to be another level of like finding out what people are really made of. Maybe doing like an obstacle course with someone. It might not be physical, maybe solving something, going away somewhere. There needs to be another level of getting to know the individuals who you're dating and not just meeting their families, another deeper level, because he seemed very, nice up front, right? Nice guy, still waters run deep. I've seen all the what people are commenting, and you would never know the way he played all these people. And then what was her name? The last lady that was talking to him at the end, Z. What was that about? Are we gonna find out next week? Because she was like, I was just talking to you last week, and he was unfazed by it. He was like, He wasn't denying it or anything.
I think we're
And
not gonna find that out until she has to come back on an interview or something like that to actually say what it said. But she did, according to some things that I've seen around, she had wrote under somebody's post that he had asked her to come on and fake that they were in a relationship. And so that takes us back to Seaway question: what is the purpose of faking a relationship? What were you gonna get out of it? You don't get no money for it. You don't get a prize vacation or nothing like that for having being a couple at the end of the show. So why why are we sitting here so pressed to have a relationship? It was weird.
yeah,
That was very weird. I didn't understand it. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm still scratching my head about that one. But like somebody said in the comments from the other live that me and Kojo did, you never know with somebody who is who misrepresents themselves. So maybe he had a reason. Who the heck knows? But I can tell you one thing: Kayla is out here defending herself and saying that this relationship was real. So she got to tussling in the comments on somebody's one of the blog sites. She was tussling with Crystal XO. She was tussling with Brandy from her same season. So yeah, the block
That's
is
not the
hot.
route I would have took. That's not the route I would have taken. If I was her PR person, I would have just put out that he scammed me like he scammed the government.
mm,
That's the route I would have taken, because why do you want to fight to prove that you being slow again? Like, you picked a scammer. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry, Seaway, but it's so real.
he's gonna be in jail. Just lie on him. Just say he scammed you too. Why are you telling everybody it's a real relationship?
mm.
Because ain't nothing fake about her except for that. Okay, let me shut up.
The way.
All right, let's just move on to Corvea and her interaction with Lyndon. Because I thought that was a good breakdown there. Listen, I never really had a complete problem, with her commentary. I mean, I think Mark Anthony brought up a good point that in terms of her saying that she wants to be spoiled, it does come off a little entitled. But I think Lyndon just caught a stray. But ultimately, look, he wasn't ready, and more. If I tell you one thing, maybe Morgan and Lyndon can make it out together, because she was the nicest. She was always so nice and kind to Lyndon, outside of kind of low key using him as a pawn, but he liked being the pawn. But yeah, she was always so nice to him, but eventually let him down because she knew that he was not ready. I think he was just not financially stable enough to, really be in a serious grown relationship. But what do y'all think about what Corvea's exchange was? And, she had to kind of walk back a little bit of what she was saying.
Okay, so let's. My poor little Lyndon. He is so touched by that comment that she made. Close that door. Okay, she's so touched by. He's so touched by that. Like, I cannot be mad at Corvea that she was listing her standards and her requirements for a man. So if she requires her man to go to therapy, I'm for it. I'm not mad at her for it. If she wants her man to live on his own, I cannot be mad at it. Where they had some truth is with Mark Anthony and Lyndon is the way she says it. She comes across when she says it. Now, it could have all been settled had somebody just stepped up and said, "What do you mean by this? When you say this, what does that mean to you? When you say you want to be spoiled, how does that look like to you?" And this whole thing where she is explaining it here at the reunion, it could have all been solved. But for the most part, Lyndon, you were in your feelings when she was talking to Demario about what she wants. She didn't sit there and say, Lyndon, well, you don't have a thing or whatever. At least what we seen, she didn't say it. Lyndon, you don't have this, that, and the third, so I ain't messing with you. You wrote her off. And that's fine. So you got to let it go. You just wasn't in a space where she wanted you to be. And you can't be mad at nobody but yourself for not being ready. Because sis saying at the end of her thing, I'm not worried about a relationship right now. I'm just going to be the best me I can be for when my relationship comes. That's where you should be. That's where your focus should be, on being the best you for your relationship. So if you're not the best you for her right now, then it is what it is. Now, I get it. Everybody feels she a gold digger. She's some type of way. I get it. Her family worked their way to a certain thing. I was with Covea all the way up until she tried to compare a relationship to a child. A child being spoiled by their parents who had to work hard to give their child whatever they wanted to give their child. That's a whole different thing from me being in a relationship with you and giving you whatever you want just because you want it. If you worked yourself all the way up and you brought yourself up out the mud and all that stuff, great. Then you should be able to spoil yourself however you want. Now, if a man or a woman in these days come along and spoil you more than you're spoiling yourself, great. Take that bonus. But it shouldn't be that you demand of your man that off rip, he's got to just do these things for you. That's a privilege that he wants to do because he loves you. And that's just real. If you find you a man that has the means to do it, that's even better, because then you know he can do it. And when he starts doing it, then you know he does it because he loves you. But if you get you a man that just doing it just to be doing it, great, trust me, he's doing it for a lot more other people because he can afford to do that too. And that's his thing. If he could buy you a Gucci bag, he can buy her Chanel and buy the next one a Birkin. He gonna be doing it. So actually get you a man that, yes, has the means to be able to spoil you when he feels that you are in a space for each other to spoil each other. But honestly, know that he's doing it because he actually loves you and he likes to see you happy, not just because you request this of him. I don't like when people do that stuff. I request these things of you. Well, keep requesting, because you're not going to get it from me. You can only request me to be me. And pray that I love you the way you want to be loved. And sometimes that means that you're going to have to show me how to do that, because not everybody comes into this thing of saying, this is how we were raised in my household, so you must do me like how I was raised in my household. So that's the only thing I fought her on, is just, you know, how she came off in the show. But in this moment on this reunion, she stood hers. I'm not even mad. That's my requirement. That's my request. That's what it is. If you're not the man for me, next. Can I be mad at it? Go ahead, Sean. See what?
My thing is, I think Jay, I think you and I think the same for our lives. You know, personally, I don't want a man that's just like, you know, I just want to spoil my girl. Because usually a lot of times dudes like that don't think that you should require anything serious of them because they're giving you this kind of materialistic things. But also I have to be realistic that there's just women out there that kind of want more of that lifestyle. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is. Corvea, based on the reunion, seems to be indicating that she doesn't want a man that's just going to be spending money on her and have no substance. She indicated by saying she wanted generational wealth and she wanted to be able to pass down you know, property and things like that to her kids, that she does want more. So I hope she took the feedback that people were giving her, that the energy that she was putting out didn't say that. It said that I just want a more of a materialistic relationship and more transactional. I'm not sure if she received that feedback based on her response, but if she doesn't want that type of man, I think that she should address her approach. Should address and change her approach. But what I will say is, Lyndon's kind of over the top response, separate and apart from him not wanting to be lied on, right? Because what man wants to be lied on, or what man wants you put in 10 on 2 about his situation? I get him being upset about that. But his response about, you know, his kind of like insecurity that he showed about how she felt about his living situation is on him. Because the fact of the matter is, you could have pulled a Mark Anthony approach and be like, baby, you want to be spoiled? I ain't the man for you in the story. Like, I respect what you want, but that's not what I want, right? That's how a man who's standing in his own too deals with that situation. Lyndon was trying to change her perspective and trying to be, he was just very triggered. And my thing is, all you got to do is say, hey, this is what you want out of life. I'm not the man to give that to you. Kind of like his conversation with Morgan. But just because we wouldn't do it or we wouldn't handle it doesn't mean she has to change. All I'm going to say is that what she's saying she wants on the reunion doesn't match the energy that she put out on the show. And for her sake, I think she should tweak that a little bit. But Linda doesn't have a right to be triggered at her because his pockets ain't lining up to what she want. Just get them pockets up, or let her know that you can't get them pockets up, and y'all ain't a match. So I think we kind of got to compartmentalize this, this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think what throws people off about Corvea is that she talks more about quantity than quality, right? And this is a show about finding love. So she didn't talk about too much about what she wants out of a man's character, out of his integrity, his loyalty, his faithfulness, or his level of honesty. It was more about how he can provide, right? Which is a part of what most women desire. So the part of her not being wise enough to marry these two, right? You talk about the quality, but you emphasize quantity more. And so that could really push people away, especially in this day and age of gold digging. So even if you have a man that has all the money in the world that can give you, the yacht and everything, if his character is flawed, he might have a bunch of other women that he's doing the same thing to. I think Jay mentioned this. He could be providing that bag for everybody else as well. So that I sense that most of the men were like, you know what? She's really not after something of quality. She's more of quantity. And maybe that's where Fabrice said, I was you in the past, because maybe he was chasing money, and now he's chasing sex. He's still chasing some type of quantity instead of quality. And maybe that's where they aligned. So I think, yes, Seaway, Lyndon completely triggered. And that's something he needs to work on. He's no longer in his 20s. He's going into 30s and 40s. And that lifestyle is not going to match up with the women that are going to be around in his circle, or the women that he desires. He needs to step it up. He needs to transition to the next phase of his life. We talked about, yes, you can still have roommates if you're planning to buy a house, or if you have parents that can support you still as you pursue your dreams. Nothing wrong with that. But it does show that you might not be ready to get married or to get to the next level of your relationship, because it does require you to leave the nest, right? To have your own. And if you have your own, then you're able to build with somebody else. So yes, that trigger hopefully will let him secure the bag and secure his future with his future, partner one day. I think this show has hopefully shown Corvea stop focusing on just quantity, but really look at quality first. And then once you have that quality man, see if he has the potential to earn, as well as also the ability to earn. So that's what I have to say.
All good points. I almost forgot, but somebody in the comments reminded us that this conversation stemmed from something that I think that was a conversation between Demario and Corvea. And then I guess Demario talked about it, and then it with the other fellas, and then that's how Lyndon chimed in. So I don't even think she said it directly to Lyndon, did she?
No, they were. It was them three sitting, but it was her and Demario talking. Demario asked her what type of shoes you like, and they got into a whole conversation that just spiraled from there about what she requests of a man, what she requires of a man, and all we remember her saying is that I want a man that live alone and all this stuff. And then we get the cutaway, if I recall correctly, of Lyndon saying, "Well, I got a roommate," and woo woo woo. So it's just like you checked yourself off. You gotta check yourself off of that box or whatever. If that's what her requirements are and that's what she requests, if she request a man 6 foot, dark skin, and this, that, then you fit. But if she requests a man to be light skinned and have this kind of thing or whatever, then you're just not it. That's it.
It's really
Don't be
bad.
mad.
Really
Hey, I'm with it.
Don't be mad. Now I'm with Seaway on the part where if somebody else come back and tell us, tell me that you telling people, oh, I tried to kiss you, and if it did or didn't happen, then you cutting my chances off, then yeah, I'm gonna be mad, especially if it didn't happen. So there he got a right to be mad at that part right there, which he seemed to be. He wasn't so much mad at that, but she was mad. That's the reason he cut her off in the lounge or whatever. But like he said, it was Jeffrey who told me this. So technically that's Jeffrey advocating for
Jeffrey didn't have to bring that back. That was being messy. But what I will say is I'm assuming that Corvea was probably putting 10 on 2 in the women's lounge, trying to add on like she was one of the many women Lyndon tried to kiss. And it's like, yeah, no,
but
you
we
can't
seen it though.
Huh?
It was in one of the women's lounge that we seen it when Marcia said he tried to, after Marcia had almost got kissed by him on the date, and she did say, oh, he tried to kiss you too.
Oh, that's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was wrong for that. I would, if I was Lyndon, I would be pissed about that.
Yeah.
Not sure why Jeffrey felt the need that she has to run it back, because for everything she mad at Sue-Ann about, she looked like she was doing the exact same thing. Because you snitching and tattletaling, people gonna have to be consistent across the board. People need to have some consistency on this season. There's no consistency. It's crazy.
That's true.
And y'all peep how Demario just doesn't say anything.
Well, he did. He piped in to say he tried to save Corvea. That was his.
After that, it's like, what happened?
He's
After
like, I tried to save you, and then that was it.
What happened after you left? What happened after they left? Like, I guess, is that one of those things that didn't stick? Like, I wanted to see there's gonna be a love story with Demario and Corvea, I guess.
She said she's been dating here and there, so
but nothing stuck. Yeah, she said nothing stuck, so she working on her.
Here and there, so she's here and there. So for anybody that's interested, I mean, she looked gorgeous. I'm not even gonna hold you. She was looking great.
Look, I know we're not prepared because you don't have the fashions pulled up, but I just want to say, Corvea's outfit to me wins best dress. She looked phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
She looked fantastic.
From,
and quiet as it's kept,
her and Morgan
pulled off that storm wig with the white dress. She low-key pulled it off.
Yeah, Jeffrey got the ice storm look down, but Morgan, because them freaking legs was going through that day.
Morgan and that bob was also bobbing. I don't know. There was some
bob was bobbing with the legs.
Nice.
Okay.
And then Mercedes looked fantastic. I don't know. It's tough.
Her hair looked gorgeous.
I think to me, Corvea was just the best dress because it was nice, sleek, or whatever. It was really nice or whatnot. But I'm sorry, when she was sitting next to Toady and that leg was popped out there, I was like, oh, she gonna give it all to him. She gonna say, look at all this stuff. She got it glistened up for him. I said, go ahead, Morgan, show him what he can't get until later on tonight.
Until later. Exactly. You already know.
But them ladies was looking nice. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not mad at Corvea for standing on her. I like that back after behind the scenes that they showed Mark Anthony talking to her and just showing like how it can be a misunderstanding from the way you're now saying it, Bambi, really. But from the way you're actually saying it now to the way we was taking it back then. Your delivery is off. And she was actually receiving the feedback. So she's probably understood by now. Like the way I'm kind of giving it off is more like the sister on Coming to America, less Lisa and more like the sister, you know. So she'll be fine.
Any other thoughts about Corvea, Demario, the mix up?
Mm-mm. And I see you, RC girl. We're not acting like Marcia. Marcia gave all season, baby. We don't even have to talk about her. She was given all season. Okay. Marcia was serving the fashions. So
Yeah, Marcia looked great as well. Yeah, I would say all the ladies, look good for sure. Everybody, everybody looked pretty good. The fellas, they're in
yeah,
Miami, so everybody had on loafers and had their ankles
yeah,
out. So I get it.
yeah.
Mark Anthony had his chest out.
He likes to have his chest out. That's his go-to look. He looked great.
Him
Anthony also looked
and
good.
Tony.
Great.
Who looked good?
I like Anthony's outfit.
Did you?
I thought so. You know, I
Okay.
try to be fair. I
He
thought so.
seemed like he was going to the Oscars to me, but I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
He seemed like he was on the way to a basketball game. He looked like the NBA players right now.
He had on a tuxedo, Jay.
That came up to his calf. Oh wait, we talking
No,
about Anthony.
you
Think about
talking
Andre.
about
Oh yeah,
Andre,
come
Lord.
on
Yeah.
now. We
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Anthony was dressed to go out to Oscars. Yeah, he was definitely going to a award show afterwards. He was ditching them.
I like Jonique's dress. I liked her dress.
with the yeah.
I kind of wish they didn't sit her on the side sometimes with her feather in the way though, because
True.
they
Should
sat
have been
her on
more
the
front
side.
and center because it was a really good dress. That's the dress I would have wore.
Yeah, Andre's outfit, Lord, and I think he had like sparkling shoes. I'm like, what is going on?
I'm trying not to mention the outfits I don't like because I feel like what Jesus say? What's the golden rule? Yeah.
Do unto others as you would like them do unto you.
If you can't say nothing nice, say Nathan.
I don't think Jesus said that, but
Jesus ain't say that. You right. Hold on. I need Bible thumping coach. When I got Deacon Sean, he can help. And look, JB Bible study, you can help me out.
That's what I said. God said, say
I'm trying
Nathan.
to keep up with y'all.
Just say
What
Nathan.
What they say, reform Deacon Sean. What they say about
Yeah, I'm the reform deacon. the reform sat down. I've been sat down.
Yeah, Nikki, I'm glad you said it because I'm not gonna say it. But whatever Nikki just wrote was really bothering me.
Nikki said Nathan.
Yeah, Nikki ain't say nothing.
If y'all could read it for yourselves.
Whatever Nikki wrote.
But
I really liked Johnny's outfit. It's one of my faves.
I mean,
Morgan looked
What
good.
was she all worked up again? She was worked up. She was fussing with Blue, right?
Blue.
yeah,
What was she fussing with him about?
Sean, did you just zone out through this whole thing?
yeah, she was because he called her after she got eliminated.
He voted her out. He didn't save her.
Oh, he didn't
her
use
after
his
the
save to try to save her, and then he tried to reach out to her to have a situation going on
He
afterwards.
was trying to have a sneaky link, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And she was upset about that. Okay. Yes, I do. Now I remember. Because we wound up going down the whole Blue / all his legal woes. So I think it got I lost track of where we landed with that whole thing with those two. But I just remember her fussing and tussling. She was reminding me of you know who she reminds me of? Who's Joelle? Which one was she?
Oh,
Is that Vernisha? She reminds me of Vernisha so much.
When she went in on Joelle, oh my God.
Yeah, Janique reminds me of Vernisha. Absolutely.
Can we just mention for a quick section since we was up on Corvea? No, when we was on Linden. No, on Corvea. I'm sorry, it's on Corvea. When she sat there and said she want her man in therapy, and the two worst was in the back talking about, yes, girl. I said, if you help us, don't stop playing in our face right now, knowing that y'all need to be in therapy with them, talking about some yes, girl.
Was that just me or was that an odd requirement? Am I weird?
This is
saying
not
that
a
people need to go
requirement.
to therapy. You don't
I
even
feel
know if
like,
they need to go to therapy.
child, in this day and age, everybody need to go to
I'm sure we
therapy.
all can use it, but I'm saying like you don't even know. Just to say you want somebody to go to therapy and you haven't even like assessed what you think they need to go to therapy about. Not to
Well,
say that we all can't use it, but that just seemed a little weird.
then
And
just do
maybe
like her
that could be
same standard I'm gonna give to Lyndon. Listen, just either ask her, are you in therapy yourself? Because if you require me to be there, you better be there too, or whatnot. Or okay, you're not the one for me, girl. Go on.
maybe it could be you just need to self-reflect, right? Maybe this whole you need therapy that people say to one another at times, it's also like, hey, you might need somebody to talk to. It could be your friend, it could be your pastor, it could be some self-reflection before you make a decision. Maybe that could be it. But yeah, I think to just jump off the bandwagon and said you need to go to therapy and you don't know anything about what that person's going through is a bit too pretentious.
Maybe I mean maybe it wasn't like you have to be currently going, but you had to have some experience before at least, like some type of therapy. Maybe that's what her requirement actually is. We already know that we having trouble with the communication as far as her relaying the message. So maybe that's what it is. That you don't have to be going soon as we get together and start dating, but you have to have had gone before or actively doing it.
Absolutely.
I just think we're kind of swinging from one end to another. Like I know when most of us were growing up, Black folks going to therapy was weird, taboo, odd. Mental health was not something that we talked about, right? And so there's been like this big push. I know Charlemagne's been really good with this and others about mental health, going to therapy, right? But now I think we're like we're really like it just seems like in life we don't know how to flow in the middle. We can't understand nuance. We can't do stuff by case basis. Like now we're swinging all the way to the other end. Like I can't date somebody unless they're in therapy. I mean, again, I guess I go to my default. Whatever works for
No,
Corvea,
you're right. You're right, Siway.
her mate needs to be able to match that. But for me, I'm like Lyndon with the roommate situation. That would have like gave me hella pause. Like, what you mean? I am not the man for you. You can't dictate me into therapy.
Right.
It's just odd for
We
me.
got to be careful on how quickly we say that to people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think on the dating scene, it's because to your point, Seaway, it is it's highly talked about of late. And look, just because somebody's in therapy don't mean they're doing the work either, because you can go to therapy and play if you really want to. Just like Morgan was sending Tony to therapy when she needed to be having not even sitting in a session next to him, but having her own session by herself. So look, you can advocate for therapy all you want, but it's more about the work that you're doing and being self-reflective and what happens and what you do with therapy. But yeah, no, it's just become very commonplace, and people. I don't see that it's totally wrong to say like, oh, you want somebody that's open to do that, right? Have they taken time to examine themselves? But I think like from what I've gotten from Corvea, she is just like she just if she thinks it, she says it. There's not a big filter when it comes to her, and I don't know if she means to offend, but I think that would be her lesson. And when Tommy asked her, like, what have you learned from the process? I still don't think she completely got it. But that would be the thing for her. It's like, there's nothing wrong with your expectations, but you can't put that all on the table in the beginning. In the first, it's a lot for somebody to take in for the things that you may want and require. So you have to also have some things in a vacuum in a one-on-one conversation, get to know the person, get to hear about their perspective on life. What kind of relationship are they looking for? You can't just hit somebody with bullet points. I need you to be therapy. I need you to have 6 figures. You need to have all of these things. It's like you're gonna miss your blessing. And then that's why she's kind of dating here and there, because you stating all that stuff at the first date, dudes are gonna be like, she's pretty to look at, but that's a lot to handle, and they might be passing along. right? And I think she has a lot to offer, but she has to also learn how to temper the things that she says. So that's what I think about her.
You're right, Sean. And I think a lot of young ladies are making this mistake that I see in Corvea. They're just telegraphing everything that you want. You don't need to telegraph everything. Like if if you want a high value man, that's fine. That's what you go after, but you don't need to announce that. You don't need to announce that I want a six-figure man every time you open up your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Live your life as if someone who wants a six-figure man. You know what you do instead of announcing that? Go to galas and fundraising events with six-figure men. Be in crowds with six-figure people. Actually put yourself in six figures so you're interacting with those type of people. Because if you're making that type of money or have the ability to make that type of money, then you're going to naturally interact with those type of people. Like I never once in my life had to announce I want a six-figure man. Everyone that I interact with, for the most part, except for some of my childhood friends, which I love to death, but as I moved on in life, everyone pretty much is making the same amount of money, if not more. So it wasn't like I had to announce that. That was just the men that were around me. That's just what happens. And the same thing goes for so many other things. Like if you want a man that believes in God, don't try to meet your man at the club. A godly man can be at the club, but you get what I'm saying. Like you don't have to announce everything. And I see a lot of times that we're in this social media world, we just announce our list with every single thing that we want, and it's a turn off. And it actually ends up getting you the opposite thing that you want.
I
So
mean, I think it's because of that whole the secret book, putting your stuff out there in the atmosphere, manifesting what you want, idea of things and stuff like that. And I think people just think, oh, if I say it out loud, if I say it this many times, it's going to happen. Yes, it will happen, but you're leaving off a lot of the things on those lists too. You want a man that can do all of those things, yes, but you also want a man that loves you and only you, that wants to take care of you, that is healthy, that is in the right state of mind to even be in a relationship, to be even a head of a family or whatnot and stuff like that. You want a man that, is understanding and respectable. You want a lot of other things that money doesn't always make a character for a person. You need to be asking for a lot of those things. And if he comes along with nice wallet, like Seaway say, you put yourself in that room with him, now you're attracting the man that has the things that you want, monetarily wise, physically or whatever and stuff like that, but you're also attracting the right character of a man, because once you get into those rooms, all those men got the money, all those men got that, but which one is going to have the character that you really want to make your successful family thrive through the future? So that's what you really need to be putting in your manifesto is, I want this type of man with these type of characters. Really, all that extra stuff is going to come a matter of where you stack yourself up in the lining, like where you place yourself in the thing. Like when I knew women that was chasing ballers, yes, they would be at every event for the ballers. They would be in every space for the ballers. That's what you do. You put yourself in those positions. But what are they doing for you? You can get you a baller that cheats on you all day. You can get you a baller that just want to play with you. You can get you a baller that ain't gonna treat you like whatever you want to be treated. Yeah, but you got your baller because that's all you ask for. Be specific and what you really, really, really want for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think all great points when it comes to that, and just if we really want to be ready to love, right? It starts with us, and I think sometimes people, not just Corvea, just in general, they focus on who the other person is going to be instead of who they are, who they're going to be, what work they're doing on themselves to make themselves the perfect match, or the best match, best fit, rather. You don't want to say perfect, but best match to be with that person that they want to be with, right? So, I think that's good. We're going to save Morgan and Tony for the end. Who else? Who else? Did we get everybody? I feel like there's somebody that we're missing. We talked about Janique. We talked about We talked about Blue. We talked about Demario and Corvea. Who else? Who else? Who else is out there? What other couples were left? We definitely talked about Andre and Jeffrey. We talked about Sue-Ann and Blake. Lightly touched on Mercedes and Mark Anthony. We'll see more hopefully in part 2. So yeah, I think let's dive into the hot sauce of it all with good old Morgan and Tony. Yeah.
And Lyndon for kicks.
Yeah. And Lyndon for the stray. And then we could add Mark Anthony
Mark
in there
Anthony, no, you
Mark
can add
Anthony got obliterated.
You can ask a few of the ladies too. Ask Marcia on there too, because shoot, Morgan came out with a Tommy gun. It was like, everybody could get it.
Yeah, Morgan cussing Mark Anthony had me in tears. I'm not gonna lie, that was the funniest thing. And then you and Kojo last night going back over it had me crying some more.
Wait,
that was so rude.
What?
See, all I could freaking think about is New Jack City. Morgan was like, "Sit your $5 ass down before I make changes."
And it was Tony saying, "Yeah, sit down," pretty much. I was like, why are y'all doing my man's like this?
Right.
I was like, what's happening?
Yeah,
he did nothing wrong.
He didn't want to get Morgan even more riled up. So that's why he was like, Saint, just chill, bro. Just chill. Like, just please, don't. This ain't your fight to fight.
When I literally say these people from Gotham City, here's my list right now so far, okay? I got Jeffrey as Poison Ivy, Tony as the Joker, especially in that purple coat. Good job, Tony. Morgan as Harley Quinn, Blake as I'm Batman, Sue-Ann as Robin, Andre as Enigma, Corvea as Batgirl, and Blue as Two-Face right now.
That is so accurate.
I gotta get the rest of these people.
I'm glad you got Tony as the Joker, because I think a lot of people don't see. I think a lot of people do see. At the end of the day, there's the gas, and then what is it? The lighter. How it go, Sean? Whatever it is, they
what they combined and make fire.
They're combustible, okay? Like y'all help me out. He literally be putting gas on it,
right?
and she look. Let me take the fire out of it. He's the all gas, and she's the no break. Okay, she has no chill, and he's all gas. They just respond to each other. I think they like the toxicity, and that's all. That's all. Because as soon as he said, "You will not disrespect me," she took off. And he knew that's all she needed. Like, you will not disrespect. She's like, nobody disrespecting you.
I am so sorry. I know we're supposed to be serious about the way she was coming off in that moment, and I don't mean to laugh, but it was just so out of nowhere. It just caught everybody off guard. So if you have the sense of humor like we do, that's why we find it funny. I know some of y'all are gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, I shouldn't be laughing. That was the abuse that she was giving off." Yes, it was. But Tony, I'm sorry, that whole thing, all of them together was just like, are we really watching a reality show, or is this scripted at this point? Because
it was an act. It was a huge act. It felt like it was so theatrical.
But I think the crazy part is I don't think it was fake at all. Like, I think them folks do that on the daily.
Yes,
which makes it problematic. Exactly. You're watching it like this isn't real, but it's really their reality.
And where was he 6 weeks ago, Sophie, Jay, and Sean? Where was he 6 weeks ago?
No,
I'm like, somebody needs to answer
that. That threw me for a loop, because 6 weeks to me, and Kojo and I lightly touched on it, but I'm like, 6 weeks sounds like a definitive amount of time, and it usually is attached to
some we know.
Pregnancy. Let me.
Like 6 weeks is an odd thing to say. Most time you would say 1 month ago, allegedly. Most time we would say
go back on mute.
Either 6 weeks ago was the end of the filming, or 6 weeks ago means something else. Either way,
he went on a business trip or something. You never know. I mean, this is
But it can't even be end of filming because they were talking at the end of filming still. They went back to talking after filming. So and then according to some timelines I seen, this was taped like July through September. Sometime the reunion wasn't done until December. So this is looking back in November, October.
Wait, look at wait, Logan. What? How you know that? When she say that?
No, she's saying that that's what it sounded. Pretty much
Oh, like
that's
I
what I
missed
was
the light.
alluding to.
I missed
Sophie
the light.
said it. But
Mm-hmm.
she didn't Morgan never definitely said
Okay.
that anywhere that we know about, but it just sounded like that.
But you know what? Okay. So on a serious side about these two, and specifically Morgan and Tony, I was really upset with Tony when he got to sitting there saying, "Oh, I had my kids. It was this and that, and all these things that you had prior to coming to this show that you knew was going to be a factor in your dating life." Period. So to make that an excuse once you got off the show and somehow ghosted her afterwards or whatever, it's like, come on, be for real. You were still probably upset from the way she embarrassed you at the end of the show by not choosing you and saying all that extra stuff that she didn't need to say once again. And that was it. But to sit here and try to get up on this TV now and on this couch talking about, oh, I had my kids and I had this going on and I had that going on, but you still talk to her after the show for whatever period of time it was. So that was BS. You got what you wanted from her and then you moved on. Let's just be honest, because you've been honest about everything else thus far. And we've been commending you on it. Whether it was wrong or right, you've been honest about it. So just tell this lady straight up the truth. Me and you just not good for each other, and that's what it was. Or I got what I wanted, and that's it. You played me, I played you back. Ah, but all that extra rah rah that got her flamed up, and now she cussing out the whole cast.
Because Tony. Here's the thing: we got to start with Morgan, where she went wrong. If you said you were picking yourself, you should have picked yourself and walked. And as soon as you moonwalked backwards, back into the chaos, that laid the foundation to where we're at today, right? If she would have just picked herself and never came back, she would have done the right thing, and then the toxicity would have been over. But as soon as she came back, she gave Tony the opportunity to lie and be the all gas or whatever he was doing that got her so mad in the first place. And I think a lot of times people are always judging the person with the reaction, but you're not looking at the whole picture. It's both of them. Tony is not a victim. He's not a victim. At this point, Morgan is not a victim. There are two people who have signed up to participate in this chaos. The only victims on the stage were the people who had to be subjected to it, their castmates, and Tommy. At this point, like, neither one of them are victims. So no tears for Tony Argentina. Like, come on now. Tony knows what he was doing. That's why he was sitting there with his hands folded, gaslighting her, talking about he had to pick his kids. He had kids. We had kids the whole time. Tony knows that he was messing with Natasha the majority of the season, allegedly, if not longer. That's why Natasha was in the back looking like, y'all were dating? Y'all were kicking it? What? So Tony's up to no good. And he probably ghosted Morgan like he ghosted Natasha. So he understands her reaction and he probably finds it entertaining and sexy. That's why he's sitting there like that, participating in it, because he thinks it's all funny, and that's why he ran after her. So
No, you know what that really was right there. He wanted to know if he still had access to her, and by making her upset, and he knows that he can still get to her
that's all he wanted to
emotionally.
know,
That's
because
what that
he could have
was.
contacted her right before, and he chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I
Mm-hmm.
always look at the big picture. I'm not just looking at the person who has the loudest response. Oftentimes, I'm looking at the people who were sitting there quietly puppet mastering the situation. And Tony knows what he did or did not do. Like Jay said, he probably found it very attractive that she's still crying and carrying on and storming out. So they need to get it together, because that. I mean, it was funny, and I'm allowed to have a sense of humor. Some of y'all take life a little bit too seriously. Life is going to be long if you take it so seriously. But at the end of the day, I mean, they need to. It couldn't be my life.
But I'm laughing at these comments right now because they talking about he played her and she played him and that's it. But then turn around and agree with you. But you said that she'd have doubled herself back and played herself. So I'm just like, which one is it? Like, because she played herself at the
She
end.
played herself and he played her.
It's
But
a
she
game.
played, but she played herself first when she pussy popped backwards.
Yeah. But
She
she's
should have
been
never.
doing that.
Yeah, you. As soon as you did all that standing ovation, shout out to Jeezy.
Every time she saw a red flag or heard of what happened, she still said, well, I'm going to give him a chance. You know, Lyndon told her in more words than others that there was two Tonys. There was a Tony in front of her and then a Tony with the gentleman. And she knew that, but she said, I'm still going to give him another chance. This is a very toxic attraction. And that's what she even said it. She said, we're a toxic attraction or relationship or whatever. It's that you're not getting along mentally, but physically you're tied. So they're addicted to something that keeps drawing them to one another. And have you ever seen the movie Sleeping with the Enemy? It's like you're sharing a bed with someone or you're being intimate with someone that you're not supposed to be with, that you really dislike. But because you've gotten some type of bond with them, you've done there's something that has joined them together. It's very, very, very hard to draw that apart. That's why it's so dangerous and not easily to play with. You have to, as toxic as that person is, as much as you're attracted to him, you got to really resist that, because it could turn into something that will cost you years, time, health, mental health. And look at them, they look very unstable in terms of back and forth, and it's like
Run something back for me, Sophie, because you said she the one who said toxic. Did she say it before? Because I remember Tony saying it, and she blew up about Tony calling her toxic.
She said it at the reunion. She said, yes, it's a toxic relationship, or it's a toxic attraction, or something.
What part she say that in? Because she blew up when Tony said it.
No, Tony said it.
She blew up. Yeah, she blew up when Tony said it, because she went off. I'm not toxic. That's how they started. Them shots started getting fired, because he said it's a toxic relationship. She said, I'm not toxic. I was like, oh.
I think it actually was Tony, but then he proceeded to be toxic, Simone.
Because it's a toxic relationship for them both. But she the one who excluded herself out the toxicity. It's like both of y'all together is toxic. What are you talking about? That's what's toxic.
Yeah. But again, this back and forth, going back to she knew it was toxic, but she still went back to it. And yeah, it's just one part. I think I read somewhere that said that she was trying out for Love and Hip Hop Miami. They were just joking, of course, but it does seem like she's really putting on a real show up here. It's like maybe theatrics should have been her calling rather than this dating show, because there's a huge lack of self-awareness in her, and she thinks it's just funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm
her and Jeffrey are very much so aware of the cameras. I think they're made for TV, and they're reality TV gold, right? They're getting a lot of airtime for a reason. They're entertaining, and they're polarizing, and they're provocative. Yes. And they're the reasons why people want to talk. They're half the reason why people get on here just to debate that she's toxic, all to watch it another episode. Okay, like it is what it is. And so she knows that people love to hate her, love to defend her, whatever side you're on, or love to be neutral and nuanced, whatever it is. She knows, and she has everybody's attention.
But see, I can't go with that she knows or whatever and stuff, because if this was live and we're going through this and we're talking about it as it was live, that's a different thing. But this has been filmed.
I wonder if the producers are giving her feedback, because it seems like people know.
But even okay, so let's take away that she knows. The problem is if she does not know that this is her actual behavior and this is not right, and I'm gonna tell you that she did not know because she wouldn't have gave that apology that she gave Natasha, saying this is not the person on the screen. I'm not familiar with this person or whatever. So I can agree that she was set up to do the most, and she ran with it. But this is within her. This is definitely something within her because you can't run with something you don't have in you already. So to be acting like this on the TV and knowing that this is a reality TV show, I wouldn't even want to pick up that character, to be honest with you. Y'all would literally have to really make my pockets count for me to pick up that character, because to pick up this type of character is hard to let down. You know what I'm saying? Just people that are on the reoccurring reality TV shows, Giselle, Kenya Moore's, all of them people had to pick up them characters and literally carry them characters for seasons before they can let it go. And some of them just can't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start acting like this is you. This becomes you. And I think this is like this is really Morgan, and I think she really needs to see that she is a part of the problem that she finds herself in. You can't sit here and remove yourself from a toxic situation when it takes two things or more to be toxic. You are a part of that. Tony is not walking around being toxic by himself. You are not walking around being toxic by yourself. You two together is toxicity. You might be with somebody else and it might work, or it might be another toxic combination. We don't know. But sweetie, you're not excluded from that combination. And she got to stop doing that. Every time it's something, Tony need to go to therapy. Well, what about you, sis? With this relationship, the crazy thing, Tony says this relationship is toxic. He didn't say she is toxic, I am toxic. This relationship between us two is toxic. She jumped on the thing. I'm not toxic. Sweetie, with this man you are. Because look how you firing shots at Mark Anthony, Marcia, everybody on that other side of the couch. Why does he have you that worked up? You should never give nobody that much power of yourself. Especially for this situationship, because that's what it is. It's a situationship. So that's crazy. You need to find yourself. Like, seriously. You want to be clapping in the back about how the men need to go to therapy before they get in a relationship. You might want to do something yourself too.
Remind me how did Mark Anthony catch that stray? What was she saying that he tried to contest?
Oh, when she called him a monster.
Oh, that's right.
That's how it went. He said, this relationship is toxic. I'm not toxic. Blah, blah, blah. He a monster. What now?
That was after she fired the warning shot, and she did tell him she was going to destroy him first if he didn't shut the hell up, and he kept talking. Mm-hmm. So when a woman said you got one more time and you take that next time, well,
I was just about to choose your hands.
Sean know about that. When a woman get that,
how do I know about that?
I know you know.
How?
Because you the one who gonna take that next time after she done told you got one more time.
Is that what Mark Anthony said? No, that's my man's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to defend his New York brother. Nah, man, son, that's my man's.
He tried. But listen, Tony was like, nah, bro. Just be easy. Stay over there. Please.
I'm low-key still curious on what she got to destroy this man. Like, what do you know about Tony? You know what? Let me leave that alone.
And then Marcia caught the straight too. She was like, you sitting over there.
Yeah.
What else is she supposed to do?
Marcia was like, what? Marcia hit the matrix on her. She's like, oh, girl, hold up.
She's like, you sitting over there looking. Okay, what
is
she supposed to do?
Marcia's like,
But we see they're gonna be tussing and cussing each other out the next one.
Wait, can we just rewind to the beginning when they was talking to Lyndon about his thing and how Tony was looking? every time, oh, them cutaways when they get to Tony. First of all, he was trying to hold it in so bad because he was fuming over there. What did I write down? Because that shit was funny. Oh my
Oh, when
god.
they talked about how did he feel about the kiss that they shared that
It
he
was
didn't
even
know about?
before the kiss. It was like he gave a side eye when they first cut to ask about Morgan and Lyndon together, and on that one date that we never seen because I don't remember that date. Y'all remember that date that Morgan and her was on, and she was wearing the green, and she said the hoochie daddy shorts. I do not remember that date, so we never seen that date, huh? We never
No,
seen
we
it.
did. Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
did?
I remember that.
Oh, okay, I don't
Yeah, I
remember it.
remember it. Well, she was treating him like a little kid that date.
Okay, well, I don't remember. And then on that bubble date with him and that kiss, oh my gosh, that nigga was looking back like he was back in the car on the way to the resort. Remember when he was in the backseat of the car on the way to the resort with them? He was so mad. I was like, dude, he didn't even want to look up every time they was talking to Morgan and Linda. He was looking down like this or whatever. And when she sat there and said he a unicorn, and that man looked, he said,
I saw that. I did.
Yeah, but you know how she really got him when they were on the yacht, and
Mm.
she chose him as the most attractive or most sexy or whatever title she gave him.
yeah, because I mean, he was really in his time. I'm sorry, Tony was really in his bag. He was really feeling himself. Like he was not feeling like nobody there could touch him when it came to Morgan, and he was sadly disappointed. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I listen. I got to give Tony a lot of credit because he took a lot of blows. First of all, we still got to call out Lyndon for the dry snitch of it all, because
Mhm.
that was he was blocking by meanwhile coming back and telling him, oh well, guess what? If Marcia was still here, you can have her, right? So he definitely shouldn't have been the one to come back and use that. And again, Morgan got caught up in the crossfire and that. And from what I understand, I believe he was talking to Mark Anthony, and Blake overheard. I mean, not Blake. I'm sorry, Lyndon overheard. So it wasn't even like he directly told that to Lyndon. So
Well,
Lyndon is
no,
just dry
I
snitching.
yeah, they say that there, but when I watch Lyndon's thing, I give Lyndon mad credit though. Like you watch his review his interviews and all this, and even on this reunion, the honesty that Lyndon had is unmatched right now. Like the self awareness and honesty about self is unmatched right now because I have not seen anybody yet get up there and be like, yes, I felt a certain way about their relationship. It made me feel, intimidated. I've never seen a man get up there and admit that or would not. To sit there and be like, yeah, it wasn't the best thing that I did. I wasn't planning on telling her like that, especially in front of the group. I was actually planning on telling her in private or whatever the case may be. I know everybody might be like, oh, that's breaking bro code, all that stuff. To be honest, we always say there's no rules in love. And what's the saying? I forget just that fast. I lost it. It's all fair in love and war or whatever and stuff like that. So, if I'm on a pretty much a game show aspect, a person is acting one way with me, and then when people come around is acting another way, and I'm a type of like person that carry myself a certain way. Yeah, I might say some stuff too. It might not be the best look or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's a gameplay. So it is what it is. So y'all can fault him for a lot of things, but he owns his stuff. He takes accountability. I like it. I like that about him. It's just like, all right, I did it. Wasn't a good look. My bad.
Why was he holding a girl's hand on stage with a girlfriend? What you think he did that for?
I don't know if that was nerves for her because you have to think about the setting. We know that they mix around a lot of how they stage a lot of this stuff from how they edit it and how it's actually recorded. So it could have been trying to calm her down because the Tony and the other scene could have been taped before. I have no clue. I mean, they still had their distance between them when they was doing it too, though. So, and he could still be being petty, making Tony mad. But he said he got mad respect for Tony. He was like, he was actually one of the dudes he actually looked up to, and it was like actually really building a relationship with, which was kind of odd too. I was like, okay, all right. You know, y'all going for the same girl, but all right. But yeah, I could be mad at Lyndon for it, but I commend him for at least being owning it.
Yeah, he definitely is vulnerable and open. He wasn't, shy about admitting to that. But I think he dodged a bullet. As much as he was attracted to Morgan, seeing all this transpire, it's like, And maybe he's not that serious with his new girlfriend. And that's why he's able to hold what's her name's hand. I mean, I think they all get pretty close. All the cast members seem like they get close after, each season. So, but I am interested in finding out about who was the lady that he supposedly slept with? Natasha, is it?
Tony?
Tony, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that if they're going to bring that up next week, and also,
it's coming up.
Also why she was so shocked that she was shocked that they were still talking or something. She was. So I have a feeling that she might still be involved as well. Tony seems like he has, he definitely has game and good game enough to catch a lot of women that fall for him easily. He might have a way of just tangling them up and holding on to them and making it difficult for them to let go. I think that might be his game. Beware.
Apparently, he got some other game too, because she can't get that off. She can't stop swinging off that thing right now.
Right. That's what a lot of people are saying in the chat too.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm just saying, I ain't never met none that good that is gonna make me act a plumb fool for it. Like, come on now, okay.
You talking about Tony still?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I really think that's what it is.
I don't know. See, I'm a different type of breed, though. I met some good ones, but I just distance myself automatically. Like, okay, I see you make me crazy. I can't mess with you. Yeah,
you learn from the first time, and maybe people haven't learned.
Time, Sophie.
I
just stay away. I just know me. You see, that's the thing. I just know me. It's like I can only take so much of you. I gotta leave you.
You see them coming, so you're like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's for the college days. I kind of.
But some people, they don't remember. She said she's never been in love before.
Right.
Supposedly,
some people really don't mature. Like,
right. I feel like Tony has this persona that he wants to mature, but he's led this player lifestyle for so long that it's hard for him to let go of that. Because in the beginning, he talked a big game about, he wants this and that. But yet your old ways, you have to have a season of letting them go first before you get on the show, before you start to pursue a new way of, a new type of woman instead of like the ones that you were used to.
I wonder whatever happened with Tony and Jeffrey, because she was talking biblical husbands. He was talking about scriptures and Bible studies and praying.
I think because Tony and Morgan is cool and Jeffrey and Morgan is like BFFs, it was just like a mutual thing. Like, but she cussed him out too. Remember, Jeffrey was like, "Hey, you buy your business on the whole men do this every day."
Oh yeah.
Tony inserted himself where he.
Well,
clearly there was a lot of baby daddies or children's fathers up there. So
that's what I'm gonna say. You can't really say he inserted himself when she made it a general statement.
Well, the baby daddy coalition had to stand up. You right.
Yeah. So
the Powerpuff Girls and the empowerment ladies gonna get together. The brothers gonna get together too.
I'm glad Tommy. That was the one time he had control of his stage. The one time he said, "Okay, we ain't gonna make it about men and women. Can we talk about y'all?" I was like, "Thank you, Tommy."
Tommy said, "Hold on, now. I might be somebody daddy out here. My dad gonna say we not gonna do this today."
I'm not even getting to the weeds of that. I don't give a F. Can we get back to?
I just can we talk about because I know we didn't really I don't know if y'all talked about that or not, but I was just really trying to figure out how other people was inserting themselves outside of the men because I was like, yes, it's her experience, but it's her experience with those two men, not all men that she's speaking of. Like, let's clarify everything since we gonna clarify some stuff. Her experience with the men she chose to be with wasn't the best.
Well,
But don't group
technically,
all
she
of
wasn't
ours.
wrong. Well, technically, she says black men do this every day, which is true.
Mm.
But that insinuates that all black men do it, and
Yeah, and but
that's
when you single out black men, it's saying
Right.
like we are the only men that do that. And it's also has nothing to do with the fact that the kids' fathers in her lives are not around and what is the reason. And there's you got two different sets of men. So you mean two different set of men that you have engaged yourself with and went so far as to not just you know, get
Gift.
lay down with them, but you allowed yourself to have a child with them, and they are not in the children's lives. And you want to shirk it off by saying black men do that every day. Yeah, no, we're not gonna let that slide either. If somebody got up on this channel and said it, I don't have a kid to speak of that I know about, and I'm not going to allow that to go through because it's like it removes any responsibility from yourself and
Mhm.
it's attacking a group of men that don't need to be attacked.
Absolutely.
No,
And there's so much stigma to that. There's so many other things that cause a lot of things to happen. So to just denounce it and just say, well, black men do this all the time, it no, she didn't need to add the part about black men. She didn't need to add that comment. You have to be careful what comes out of your mouth.
well,
And that's
but he did, but that was in response to Andre. I just want to set what happened. Andre was saying men just don't leave their kids like that. That's what Andre said, and her
Mhm.
response is black men do this every day. Now, maybe she should have said men do this every day
That's
instead
it.
of
mhm.
black men, but
Because it's not just black men that are doing
it's
this.
not because it's not just black men,
Mhm.
right? But if we're gonna call a spade, people are gonna be mad at me about that. This proportionally, black men do disproportionately leave their children over other races. I know people want to be in denial about that, but that is true. Regardless, in this situation, she should have just said men leave their kids every day in response to Andre's acting like it's impossible for a man to leave his kids. And I
Are
think
there
Small,
statistics
small
that are
debate.
there? Do we
Small
have
debate
clear
though.
statistics that say black
That's what I
men
was gonna say.
leave
So
their
yeah, that's what I was
children?
gonna say, Sophie. Clear, like small debate on this because there's variable reasons why black men are higher on that list. It's not
Yeah.
just that they up and chose to leave. Some of them are not just up and choosing to leave. There's situations that have made them either be put into the ground or put into a cage on why they're not there. Now, whether it's their fault or not, that's a whole different story. But when we go around the world, this is a situation where people abandon their children on a regular because there's women that do this too.
There
We're
you
not
go.
going to sit here and just act like men just do this as well because there's a bunch of orphanages. And if we start going through all those numbers and all this stuff of how people get abandoned and left behind, that would be a whole different thing. So she knew what she was doing when she made that comment. She could have worded it better. And yes, he could have sat there and said something else on why your two men left your children. That just don't make no sense, especially the first one, because when you do that math, the first one spent some years with at least one of them children. So why would he up and just abandon his child is a very valid question. And you need to have an answer for that. Now, the second two, that's a whole different thing. Now, if she was running around and she had a baby, got pregnant or whatever, and these men disappeared, she could probably stand on that saying that men do this on a regular. But men usually don't leave a child that they bounded with and not still keep in contact with that child unless somebody is in between drawing a wedge.
The lack of accountability again, going back again, it's pointing the finger at others instead of looking at yourself and having self reflection. This is the biggest issue that Jeffrey has. She doesn't have a mirror to look at and have a conversation to find out why she does the way the things she does. and why things happen. And for her to look for a biblical husband, and yet she's so reckless with her mouth and how she could easily call somebody or a group of people like she just did right now, and yet still require a biblical husband. Your discernment is off here completely, because you're requiring something that you yourself don't have the ability to have, right? Are you a biblical wife yourself? If you're so quick to dismiss a group of men because of what's happened into your life, and maybe that you're not taking accountability for, again, step back, do a bit of reflection, get some counsel. It doesn't have to be a therapist. It could be whatever help that you can get to help you look inside and see, why do I expect for greatness to come to me, but I'm not giving greatness out. I'm not, my actions do not reflect greatness. In fact, every chance I get to kick somebody while they're down, or if they, every chance I get to retaliate or, talk back, I'm reckless with my mouth. That is not technically a biblical wife, right? She's not being wise with her words. She's not she doesn't have discernment. So it's if you want to be equally yoked, you have to work on it yourself. So yeah, the brokenness within, I really believe the root cause, there is some bitterness towards the men that she's had children with. And that bitterness or that betrayal, that abandonment of that relationship is causing itself to reappear every time she is in a new relationship. So until that gets fixed, I don't think she's able to move on. I think it's going to continuously show up. She was looking at Andre like that, like he was one of those men that she had children with, almost the way the energy that she was giving and the rolling of the eyes and the body language, it was giving, you're one of those you're one of those men that I had children with, that abandoned me or that betrayed me. And I'm sure there was some hurt that probably had nothing to do with her, and who knows? And she needs to heal from that. That is my personal opinion on this.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Jeffrey needs to do all the things that you just said, but in response to Andre's surprise that we can make it, a man, a woman, or anybody can make the decision to leave their kids, whatever race, color, or creed. People do that every day. And that is actually true. Whether she was being inflammatory, she was, right? But there's a lot of people on the reverse, to Jay's point, who would be like, oh, a mother left their kids. That's impossible. Women don't leave their kids. There are women who leave their kids unprovoked. There are men who leave their kids unprovoked. That's just a reality. And yes, Jeffrey needs to do all those things, but it's also quite possible those men just decided to leave.
Yeah, no, I think what he was hitting on is the fact that there's more to the story. And, I know we talked about this a few weeks back, and Simone definitely did some research into some of those cases. And that's the problem. The problem is she's just throwing out a blanket statement as if the kids just up and walked, the fathers just up and walked out of their lives. But there's more to her story in terms of her moving out of state and the maneuvering that she's done, and some of the deceptive ways that we've actually got a little glimpse of into her own personality. So I think before you start making blanket statements, knowing that there's some stuff in your own wheelhouse that needs to be cleaned up, because that ain't her. There is more to her story. You need to be careful of driving narratives, that people start to believe. And we can talk about statistics all day long, but the statistics can be broken down and interpreted in a myriad of ways. So not my intent, but I'm just not going to accept and say like, oh, black men just do this all the time. Then why are you interested in black men? Why are you on a stage full of black men talking about black men in a blanket statement like that way? There's some little venom in there with her for black men. So I don't like it. And just the same way, if as a man, I get up here and I make a blanket statement about black women, I'm going to be called out because you can't do it. So I'm not going to give her a pass because she responded to what Andre said. She's very smart, highly intelligent. She knows what she's saying. It is a massive deflection, and you need to own your ish. So if there were some problems with the fathers that were in her kids' lives, then say, well, the fathers in my kids' lives did choose to walk away, right? Or there's some other things that I would be willing to talk about, but I don't want to get into it now. But don't start deflecting and making blanket statements that are going to get people upset. And then got the sister girl contention backstage talking about that's her truth. I can't stand this her truth. No, it's not her truth. It is her way of avoiding Jeffrey. And we've seen that all along. And that's why she's landed in the situation that she's in, where she's out here calling Andre a biblical husband and talking about she's gifting children to men who, let her tell it, didn't want them. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna let that one go at all, and I'm not gonna glaze over it because she was wrong for doing it and wrong for making a bold statement like that, especially on Oprah Winfrey's network, like they all like to remind us that they're on.
I don't know. I got opinions, but I don't want to go back and forth.
I mean, I'm like halfway. Like I said, I'm not far from you or whatever and stuff. I just feel like in her case, the way she words things is just controversial. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying that you're gifting children, but now all of a sudden these men are running from the gift that you gave them. You know, that's just crazy. I don't disagree that people and men especially leave their children on a regular for whatever reasons they leave them on the regular. I'm sorry that she had that experience with those men that she chose, but she has to take the responsibility that those are the men she chose. I can stand by her and say, I'm not about to chase down a man to look for his kids, but you also got to put your kids in position to be found if you want them to have a relationship with their father as well. So if you're doing things actively, you know what I'm saying? I'm not disagreeing. You can move away, you can move to a different state, you can do whatever you got to do to make yourself better. But if you are taking away privileges from them to have a relationship with their dad in spite of that person, that's a problem. And for me, I just feel like she don't have to tell us. That's her personal business on why those men are not in the children's life, because this is a show her children might eventually have to watch later on. But she could have had that one-on-one conversation when Andre asked, and she could have told him, and she could have easily just said right there on that platform, we had this conversation before. I told you what I said. If you don't believe me, that's it. You don't have to believe me, sir, but that's my truth. And she could have went on with the storyline of he just wanted her out, and it still would have worked. And we actually would have been looking at it like, yes, he wanted her out. But the fact that he is struggling to find an answer from you, that's kind of weird. That part right there is kind of weird. Like, why don't you just give him an actual answer of why they're not there? You don't have to tell us that I'm not going to be crying in the corner, searching for a man to come take care of his children. Andre, I told you, they're not there because we had this type of relationship and they're not good for him. This person left me when I was pregnant. What more do you want me to tell you? It could have been that simple. But this whole mystery about why they not around and all this stuff is just like the craziest to me. Really. It shouldn't be that difficult. And then to go all through the loops of black men do this every day and that's that and the third. Yes, they do. But let's look at the reason why you're choosing these black men that do this. How did you end up in this situation? For the third time. The first one didn't leave. You had two by him. So that's kind of hard to just sit there and say he up and left for this situation. You had two and years apart. They're not even stair steps. So that to me is odd. The second one, I can actually see like, okay, he wasn't ready. Whatever happened, he didn't want no children, whatever the case may be. I can get that. But the first baby daddy, you got two by. And for him to really leave the oldest child and not have contact in a world where we have cell phones, where you could easily have your kid have a cell phone, they can have direct communication to that parent without you being involved, is crazy to me. unless they was doing DV on your child or some other thing that's unthinkable to your child, there is no reason why there shouldn't be a line of communication between that parent and that child. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think the problem here is that she is not the best spokesperson for this situation because she has all these issues and she's not being very transparent and there's just a lot of holes, you know. So I think if maybe some of the stuff she was saying is coming from a different person who's kind of acted differently, maybe people would take it differently. But I mean, the truth is the truth, and there is a lot of holes. I mean, that's not debatable there. And I would hope that, especially the one that she spent so much time with, the man she spent over a decade or so with, that she has 2 kids, who was invested in her at one point, and I'm assuming those kids will want to have some type of contact with those kids, but we just don't know, and she hasn't given us that information. So I don't really know, and I don't even want to opine on it anymore. I just know for her sake, you know, you gotta do. This is not excusing their behavior, right? Because I try to separate it. But for her sake, you got to do some reflection to figure out how you got in that situation, just for your own life, and that's really all. That's all you can really say.
And I know somebody gonna stumble here at this hour right now, even if you're watching the playback and forgot that we done gave Andre all the smoke in the beginning. So just rewind and you can get all the Andre smoke back, because Andre got unfiltered smoke with no Jeffrey attached to it in the very beginning. So I know somebody, y'all didn't say nothing about Andre.
No, he definitely did.
Because he definitely was at fault for choosing a woman with kids, multiple women with kids to be his choices.
I think he just wanted to be at the end to finish. He liked her. They were attracted to one another. They had good chemistry initially and just never thought about, the next chapter. It was just right here, right now. Sometimes, I feel like he could be, caught up in the romance. A lot of people could be caught up in that first stage of romance, and it, and then what happens next? So yeah, I think the more honest Jeffrey becomes, the more clear and, the more clarity she has about her past, the better she's going to be. The cloudiness about it is just it's not helping the situation. And then these bouts of rolling her eyes, her energy, her words, all of that is like, where is that all coming from? Because if you're in a good place, usually you wouldn't be emanating all this negativity. But if there are things underneath, then yeah, because she looks like she is not a good friend of Andre's at all right now. After that whole, my biblical husband and the bathtub scene and all this and all that, it was so beautiful, it was so pretty, and now it's like, get away from me. It happens. We've seen it in other seasons.
We done take this. We went down Jeffrey Lane, and we've gotten off of Morgan, Tony, Marcy, Linda.
Child, because they'll be back next week. The same foolery at the same bad time on the same.
Since we talk about controversial topics, I got another one. So, from black men hating to, we're gonna talk about ageism, because why Fabrice getting hit with the ageism comment?
Because he acting like people daddy, grandpas up all there and stuff like that. Oh.
Meanwhile, he's only a year or two older than Tony or Blake.
I didn't know where you were going with that, but yeah, he act like somebody nasty, creepy grandpa.
Yeah, no, they told him. They was like, you too old to be talking like that. It's like, whoa. How about just, you shouldn't be talking like that, We be age-shaming brothers out here.
Yeah, I think Cynthia is the one that said, he's old enough to be my daddy. And then I think that started that whole conversation. But, he having been in France for so long, it's a very different culture over there where I'm not saying everyone's like Fabrice, but they're, it is a very secular nation, right? Where a lot of taboo stuff is okay. Like, for instance, did you guys know that the French president is married to his high school teacher? And that is for, who's like, what, 30 years older than him. So he comes from this culture of like taboo and extra, and it's not, it doesn't work out for us in this country.
But
I
he
will
was
tell
born. I
y'all.
thought he was born in Haiti, and then he spent some time in Italy
He
and
spent,
France.
yeah, he spent time in Italy and France.
I think most of his time was in France, though. At least
Hmm.
recently. I will tell you though, last month when I was in Paris and I was in the club, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but them folks don't got no types of boundaries. So all them
See?
boundaries that Febreze is crossing,
Yeah.
I had to tell two of them girls who climbed up over a rail to get in my section to stop stepping on my Jimmy Choos. And they was looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, literally, I don't speak French, but I'm gonna do sign language. Stop stepping on my shoes. Why are you even here? I had to tell them like 3 feet, no pressure, back up and get out of my section. And then they slowly, but they thought I was crazy. I'm like, you're in my space.
It's different. Definitely.
It's different. I said I can't be in the club in France. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I need y'all to back up. Y'all need some boundaries. They legit thought I was tripping because I told them to stop stepping on my shoes. Trying to drink
They're
my
like,
alcohol that they didn't pay for.
yeah.
Very weird.
Why are people saying he's 63? I think JR started something on the comments.
He
That
is not
He
63.
says
Well, that's
40,
not what he said on the show.
43 on the thing. It's not.
he is
But
not
you know what? I
43.
can't even take them for
He is
fact on the
not
show because they
43.
sure enough said that Phil was 52, and we know Phil. So I don't know what age Fabrice is, but he was coming off like somebody creepy uncle, and that's all it was. But we had this whole talk. I'm not really sure why they Skyped him in or whatnot. I don't know why they went on to say that he's like somebody's the age of somebody's daddy, but I don't know how old is Cynthia. Maybe
Cynthia was
maybe
like
Cynthia is
36.
36 or 8, one of the two.
So he
30,
Yeah, so
can't
he's
be. He
36.
can't be 43. He can't be 43 for
And
real.
be her daddy. Yeah, there's
Yeah, because I was about to say, I give him if he's 50 something,
50.
then okay, yeah, because that her
It'll
daddy might
be
be 20
like
years
cutting
older.
it close. Well, look, there's a couple of them, and we don't need to start naming names, but there's a couple of ladies that don't look their age either. But
But see,
listen,
you and Jay, my friends be mad at me when I said these 40s be looking different on different people. I've been
Mhm.
saying that not everybody 40 is made the same. There's
Yeah,
40-year-olds who look 30, there's 40-years who look 60. I done seen both
That's
of them.
true.
it's
He
true. And
he
some people just the age don't, and listen, all black don't crack, like
Mm-mm.
it's just listen, everybody be looking how they looking, the age be what it is. So
Mhm.
he just might be an older looking 43 or
That's
44
it.
by the time now.
I don't know.
But then you got Tony, because I think Tony is 44 as well. And so
Tony
is
looks
Blake.
Young.
Tony looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
It's
does.
Tony
you
is
know what it's,
Tony and Blake.
it's
And what's his name? Remember what's his name from the last Mr. Sampson? I think
Mr. Sampson looked
is he
fantastic.
50 yet? He might be either 50 or like
No.
41.
Samson was up there. Samson is like
Yeah, because
49,
at the
50,
time he was
something like
47 or
that.
48 when the show
Mr.
was on.
Sampson looked like 15 years younger than what he was. I started calling him Mr. Sampson when I knew his age. I was like, I gotta respect him. But he is a lot. Shut up, Shot. I'm gonna be respectful, but no, he looked great. He looks in his like mid-30s. Sampson does, in my opinion. He looks great.
What about Zoe? How old is Zoe?
He's so angry, so that anger is gonna age you. You walking
That's what
around
I was gonna say though.
age you.
That's what I was gonna say. Seaway. It depends on the lifestyle, and Fabrice might have just been partying up while he was in France and all that stuff. And let's be all the way honest. If we're doing a lot of extracurricular activities, we're not getting much sleep, we're not doing a lot of water, all this stuff like that, it's gonna age on us differently compared to people that is like a lot of things. A lot of times when you're very anal and you don't have a sense of humor, you tend to age a lot better, like worse than other people that laugh more.
Tell
And
some of
that
these folks in the chat, Jay. They're
Mhm.
They
taking,
shutting up in the chat.
they're taking life too seriously. Y'all gonna have
I'm
to
trying
learn
to
to
tell
laugh.
them. I'm trying to tell them they
It's
better
We
get
just
gonna
some.
how we
get y'all in the after comment because it's not even the live comments that don't really get me. It be the after comments
that be the ones trying to
that's when
check
the
your
people who
salvation.
got up this late that watch Kojo's channel catch the replay.
That be the ones that be telling Sean he ain't going to heaven because he.
That's it. They be sending me the HE double hockey sticks and dropping scriptures on me.
How old was Joel? Somebody put Joel up there.
Joel. I
Well,
think he was in his
Joel was up
40s.
there.
He was in his
He was
40s.
up there
Joel
too,
looks
though.
his age though. I think he looked his age. He
Uh-huh.
was so nice for his age.
He had a nice body.
He works
for his
out
age.
though. He works
Yeah.
out and stuff. It's a difference. You I've seen some 7-year-olds that work out and they don't look like they 70-year-olds. Like,
Mhm.
What
and
about
I'm
my
not just
crazy
talking about the
Christian
black
crush?
race. Huh?
Yeah, my crazy Christian crush, David, who getting married, I think, or just got.
Oh, he's getting married.
I think he's
Oh,
getting.
He's
I love
engaged.
Mr. David. That's my toxic trait. Drop it in the comments, whatever.
who is he getting married to? Oh my God, he flipped out.
Probably a choir director. So probably a really cute choir director, probably.
She looked like a little bit like Stacy B.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
She's pretty. She's
Yeah.
pretty.
She's petite like that, kind of similar, aesthetic. Not exactly, but if I had to compare her to someone, it would be her.
D, like, what are you going through, Christian?
I hope he
I've
makes
always
the right choice.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I mean it was a funny little dig, but yeah. Cynthia had him on that one. That is my daddy.
Yep, they age shamed him right off his little virtual appearance that he made.
I think it's mostly his personality, honestly. I think
I just want all those people that was on what's her name? Liz. All them Liz people y'all better come defend Fabrice. Y'all better come defend y'all Fabrice.
Oh, they're not coming.
Did DeMario say he asked him something? Is it DeMario? That Fabrice asked him if he was effing anybody. He's like, who are you having sex with?
Child, he came on the show, just said, I want to see who these people hook it up with. I was like, Fabrice, calm down, child.
He was a mole.
Fabrice trying to get him a show.
Yeah.
D wants to know who our celebrity crush is, and I finally have one. I haven't had one in like a decade.
Ooh.
Y'all can go first.
Yeah,
Well,
I know
since you
mine.
throw the question, then you could go ahead and tell us because I need time to think.
I need to think.
I want to see if the chat can actually guess mine's right. I know y'all not gonna guess the wrong one because I be mentioning one all the time, but they gonna guess the wrong one.
I finally have one. I haven't had one in years.
Who's your crush?
Idris Elba was for a long time, but he's
That's
now
you?
happily married. Well, I don't know.
Oh, you don't want him now? He married?
Not really.
Mm.
Well, go ahead, C-Way. Tell us. You teasing it.
I don't know if many people in Kojo's audience watch basketball like I do, but yeah, my crush is DeMar DeRozan on the Bulls. I love
that's why you watching them so much. Okay. Mm-hmm.
He's so adorable. Actually, adorable is not even the word for him.
Oh no, mine's is not Idris, baby. He got a nice accent. I do like it. I'm a sucker for accent, but it's not Idris.
Not Jonathan hitting the white
Majors.
Absolutely.
Chris
Yes,
Brown, back in the
Idris is
day.
a crush. He would be a new one, but he is not my ultimate crush. Is that
Blair Underwood and Christian Bale?
That was for C-Way.
That's a shot clock right there. What is that?
That was
they want you to pull up a picture of DeMar. Can you Google him? I don't have screen share.
Oh Lord, I'll mess
Koopy
around in the whole broadcast. I can't do it.
Tamara, can you log off for me, please? I need you to log off.
D said Allen Iverson used to be.
Not his kid got better.
What is wrong with y'all?
Alan Payne used to be. He used to be it. But okay. So my ultimate crush now and then is Andre 3000. Okay, with the gray hair, that man.
So he's so your vibe.
Yes, he is all my vibe, baby. I like smiles though. I like big mouths. So I was attracted to people with big mouths like Mekhi Phifer, Busta Rhymes, all this. Like it's something about the smiles. I like smiles. So
See, Cristiano
The Rock.
he got them veneers that's covering his whole mouth, and I don't like that.
who?
But Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever.
Oh,
But he's cute though. But it's
yeah.
just I don't like them veneers.
Is this him?
Yeah, that's Damar. That's not a good picture of him. But yeah,
Oh.
that's him.
Shut up, D. Shut up, D. You get a shot.
I like Damar when he put them like 4 little braids on his head. He got like one braid, one braid, one braid, one braid.
Who your celebrity crush? Don't be trying to opt out of this.
So I got a couple. It's hard to now. It's always difficult for me to narrow it down to just one because there's a couple in different genres or age ranges. So Chloe Bailey,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
that's one.
That's your young age.
Coco
That's your
Jones.
Andre age range. That's your
No,
Andre age.
she is Chloe Bailey is not age appropriate. She's like 24.
That's what I said. That's your Andre age range because you know Andre like I'm young.
Oh, Andre from
Andre.
the show. I thought you meant
Mhm.
like equating to yours. Yeah,
Oh no
and
no no no
see,
no no
that's
no.
what I'm saying because both Coco Jones and Chloe Bailey are young, so they're like babies. So grown women, it's Yaya DaCosta. Yeah, it's Yaya DaCosta, and then sometimes like it's my toxic side. I can't get enough of Kenya Moore, and that's when I want to jump
Oh.
up the age range and get an older cougar.
Can you
Yeah, she's
still?
about 50. Yeah,
Can you-
she's in her 50s.
Kenya's still a baddie though.
She
Oh,
is.
Kenya, there's something about her.
Which
She
which
can
version
wear
of
the
Kenya you
heels.
like though? You like Housewives Kenya or you like Deliverance from Eva Kenya?
I like Kenya from. Remember, she was on the show with Maya Campbell and LL Cool J.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
like her there.
Oh, my Emma Kemmer was so beautiful. I'm so sad.
Oh, she ruined herself. I feel that break. She was
I
another
know.
one. As a kid, my childhood crush. I'm giving y'all more than what you asked for, but you're gonna get it. So childhood crush was definitely Maya Campbell, Tatiana Ali,
Oh, yeah.
Lark Voorhees.
You know who another crush was, and y'all don't shoot me because he had an amazing glow up. But Marlon Wayne, y'all might have liked all them other Waynes, but I was on Marlon,
Marlon's
cute.
nice. He is cute.
and he back single, y'all.
I like Sean's choices. I like our choices.
Mm-hmm. But yes, if I gotta go, it's a few people. Boris Kudrow was on there because I met him in real life before he got married to Nicole Ari Parker, and he's still fine. His brother don't look nothing. I'm like, he got the good genes. Let me shut up again. Yeah. Yeah, it's some beautiful. My celebrity crushes. I can't be telling them all because I might meet them one day and I might act up and get married. So y'all just look out for that. Married at First Sight, Celebrity Edition with Jay.
Yeah, my celebrity crushes aren't actors. They're like R&B singers. They're mostly basketball players, probably. So.
Oh, you know, who is my basketball celebrity? My Vince Carter was mine.
Vince Carter, but yeah, but he talks like. Have you
It
seen
was
him?
in college Vince Carter. It was
Yeah,
college
you don't.
Vince Carter.
When he
It wasn't
talks,
the lead.
it ruins it for me.
Yeah, it wasn't the lead. El Michelle, which Jay-Z you like? Which version of Jay-Z you like? Because I see you write Jay-Z, so I wanted to know.
True Love Forever. I already gave mine. Mine is DeMar DeRozan. He plays for the Bulls. I tried to get Sean to pull up the picture I just sent, but he gone somewhere.
You know, Joda had a Boris got his. It's not Boris, it's his brother. They just don't look like alike.
They don't look alike at all.
Mm-mm.
I saw a recent picture of his brother. I like the French soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
The younger guys. The Mbappe. Did you guys see the World
If
Cup?
we gotta go out of the race, though.
No, he's black.
No, I'm saying if I'm going out the race, I'm just thinking if I go out the race, you know what?
The man from Waterman. What's his name?
Oh my God! But he's still black though to me.
Waterman. The
Not
No,
Aquaman. You mean
he was married
Aquaman.
to Lisa
No,
Bonet.
yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Aquaman is
Yes, Brad
fine.
Pitt. Brad Pitt, yes. You know what, Johnny Depp? I like something about Johnny Depp. I do not know what it is. Something
I
about
said
Johnny Depp's swag
Idris.
I like.
People are asking that. I said Idris Elba, and then
Ryan
I haven't
Reynolds,
had
yes.
one.
I like me some Ryan Reynolds, and so I like Ryan Reynolds more so because of his mouth on him, because he be making me laugh. He is a hot mess.
Yeah,
I love
Jason
him and
Momoa.
his wife,
Yeah, Jason Momoa. That's the
Jason Momoa. Yeah,
what, and that guy who did Jurassic Park. That's another white dude. That's good looking.
what's
Oh
his
my
name? He
goodness.
is.
Jurassic
He
World.
is.
He had glowed up and then try to
Mhm.
leave his wife or something after he glowed up or
You
something.
know who had a wonderful glow up that was kind of hot as a kid though? Ryan Greisland, what is
Oh,
his name? The
Ryan.
one that played
Yeah.
Zach Morris, because he
Uh-huh.
had that awkward phase when they went to the college stage, and I was like, but then when he came back, I was like, "Ooh, you back? How you doing? Call me."
See, I can't do the Shamar Moores, Katie. I can't do all that. I need you to have some ruggedness to you. Some medium ugly to you, which y'all don't want me to say, so medium handsome.
Wow.
That's what
What
Why'd you
about
click it up?
Michael B. Jordan? Anybody like Michael B. Jordan?
he's cute, but it's too
He's
clean.
cute. I don't know, something about him. Yeah, he's nice to look at, but it's something about him. I'm just like, it's missing something. I don't know what it is.
Why D don't understand my choice here?
Yes, Mackay Pfeiffer is definitely, like I said, I like a mouth, like a certain smile and stuff. So Mackay Pfeiffer was one. Leon. God damn it, so Leon.
See, Jay, you know what am I gonna say, Jay? What am I gonna say?
I already named my light skinned ones. You decided to go off camera when I did it. Because I said
Who?
Boris Kudrow, Alan Payne. Oh, I got a lot of
Oh,
light skinned
okay,
ones. Don't
okay,
try it.
okay.
Okay, don't try me.
I knew you would know. I'm like, come on now.
Only thing about Alan Payne, and the weirdness about it too, because even with Alan Payne, all that hair he got all over his body, it still don't bother me. But I'm not really a fan of all of that. But for some reason, it worked on him in not poetic justice, but what's that daggone Jason's lyric? I don't know why it looked right, but something about it.
Method Man. Somebody put Method Man.
Ooh, child, that's
Yeah,
another glow up.
He's not bad.
That's another glow up because he only got better with time too.
he did.
Oh, I
Oh,
see. Okay, they gave this some Michael Ealy. All right.
Tracy McGrady used to be so
The
fine.
only reason Michael Ealy is not on my list is because I actually know he's short, like, well, shorter than me. So it's just like,
Yeah, Michael Ealy in a good movie, yeah, that's good. But
he do got that little edge to him because when he on them dark movies when he being a bad guy to it, it's like, oh, I see the thug in you.
I think
Okay,
Terrence Howard is fine.
yeah, Terrence Howard is fine.
And the short one that's also fine from Why Do Fools Fall in Love.
Nah, I can't do Lorenz Tate. He is such a square.
I
Lorenz,
I
like
should
the
have said that
rest
so
of it.
loud. I
I
might want
actually
to see.
like
I might
him.
be.
He's from
I like you,
Chicago.
Lorenz, but you was, you a square. You
if
a square.
Lorenz pulled up, you be going, look.
No, he's still a square. 'Cause I know his personality. He's still a square. He cool though. He cool. He cool
He's a
people.
little
He's square.
shorter, for me at least.
Yeah,
Now,
he's short.
Rose, what you like about Draymond Green? You like a little toxic too. They need to get you too.
Sean Connery. Oh my god. Blair Underwood. Mm-mm.
It depends on the look of Blair Underwood. He can't get away with everything. I like him as an actor though.
I'm just big on personality. So a lot of times people are like, I don't see it. But it's because you
Yeah.
just gotta see how like people
Okay, mama.
interact. Ooh, Russell Wilson is good. I thought you were about to say Westbrook, but yeah, both of the Russells are good.
Somebody said the Tate brothers. Who are the Tate brothers? Not
Lawrence Tate and his brother.
Oh. I was like, not Andrew Tate.
You know who is fine? Tony Rock. I think Tony Rock is fine.
In a different way.
Yeah, Bill Bellamy too. I seen him in
Also
person.
in a different way. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. It's his person. Like
Yeah, Bill Bell.
you see
Yeah.
him, Seaway, you'll like Bill Bellamy because it's his
Mhm.
personality. Like he got a real cool, nice, like warm aura about him.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, thank you.
I can't say Robert Rashad. I met him. That's probably why, because he's different.
I'm surprised somebody here didn't say Vaughn. That's how I know I'm not in the Chicago space because they would.
Robert Rashad is a commie. Let's put it like that.
Sylvester Stallone. Wow.
Now what
Back
we,
in the day.
now what we doing?
Somebody said
What is
2010.
really going on?
Somebody said 2010 Jay Z, so that proves it.
No, okay,
Y'all can
yeah.
blow
'Cause
or
I
charge
asked which
it.
year. I asked you which year from Jay Z too, because I gotta know which look you into.
Ghost and Tommy. Tommy is
Yes,
petite.
Common
I
is
saw
not
him
good.
when they were filming here in Chicago. He's a petite man. He's small. He's short. Shorter.
Okay, now
A
y'all
lot of actors are.
we need to close this off because now y'all saying anything at this
Anything, Tupac.
y'all are saying anything.
They said Bill
Sylvester
Cosby.
before or after the surgery. Oh my God. Bill Cosby. What?
Somebody said Bill Cosby. What?
Come on.
Paul Walker, yeah, Paul Walker's a nice looking
Maxwell.
dude.
I don't know what he looks like
I like,
nowadays.
you know, wait, I'm gonna say Oliver Bloom, what is it, Orlando Bloom, but only like Orlando Bloom as a elf up in
Yeah, when he was in that
thought you were
movie.
talking about
Lord of the
Orlando.
Rings.
I thought you were about Orlando who be having the issue.
Oh no, girl. No.
That's what I thought you were saying.
No, Orlando Bloom.
From
But
the
I like
Disney
I
Channel.
like
Now, how these
from a
certain
part of
people
the
afterlife?
Caribbean.
What if
No,
But
I
I
know
like
what
him
you're
as
talking
the
about,
elf. Yeah, I like him as a, what is it, a pixie or elf? What were they all, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
That
he
look
was-
on him was sexy. I was like,
That was very nice.
mm-hmm.
Babyface 20 years ago. Oh Lord. Sean, we need the benediction.
Now I was about to say we need the benediction of the next topic because
Babyface 20 years
somebody
ago.
said Abraham Lincoln and that and
No, they didn't.
we need to log off.
Morgan. They said
They
Morgan
like that
Freeman as
beard.
well.
Morgan Freeman has been the same age all his career.
Well, he Morgan Freeman likes young women. Definitely.
Yes, he does.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
God. Didn't he marry? No, allegedly, I'll be
That's-
quiet. He was with somebody's 20-year-old, supposedly. I think a girl that he adopted or something, or maybe that was
Oh
somebody.
gosh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Do we do questions for Ready to Love? Let me think.
Are you giving out money?
Culture will be. Oh, somebody put Sean. Oh, now see now, look at that.
Which Sean Paul are you talking about? You talking about the reggae Sean Paul or the Sean Paul from ATL?
The reggae.
real,
It's got to be the reggae one.
For real, Cicely Tyson was the same age all her career too.
They said Morgan Freeman dated his stepdaughter. Is that what it was? Granddaughter? His stepdaughter.
Oh, so y'all trying to say he did a what's that man name? Woody Allen?
Woody Allen, yep. Eddie Murphy is a good looking man. Chris Brown.
I would tell y'all another one of my outside of my race ones, but y'all gonna judge me, so I'm gonna keep it to myself. But it's something about his personality when he be acting. It's just I just love it. I just love it.
Come on, Jay, just spill it.
I might tell y'all in the after part in the back, you know. I don't want to be defending my man in these comments, my biblical acting husband.
What? Jay, what are you on right now?
Touch.
Danny Glover. Oh Lord.
I thought you at least say Donald, but not Daddy.
Y'all having a field day.
Y'all cannot.
OMG.
I gotta get to bed. It's late here.
Okay,
Yes.
guys.
Well, listen.
We should do the benediction
Somebody
real
else
quick
will have to do the
before we go.
benediction today because it is not me.
I don't have no benediction.
No, I just gonna say that I had a really good time about this reunion, and next week then we'll just go into some more with my BFF Morgan, because it was really unfair the way that Tony was treating her. Okay, and I don't like the way Andre was acting. This reunion made my country accent come back out, and I wasn't really here for it. Okay. But other than that, the rest of the people, I'm not going to even mention Blake right now because Blake is just blah. I'm Batman. But yeah. So you guys have a wonderful night. I love you all. And you just go out there and find your biblical person. They're out there for you somewhere. Okay. And if the parents don't want to be there, just don't chase them. Okay. Just don't. Love yourself. And you guys should be graced that you were here with us tonight, sitting right here with us. Okay.
City girls, up or down?
You got to end with the real voice, they said, Jay.
That's the country. You need the country voice.
And on another thing, okay, I need to put a little bit more bass up in it because first of all, if Andre is gonna sit here and try to play me, I think's not. Okay, not this country little bumpkin right here. Hello, let's get it. Okay, back to you, Blue.
Any closing remarks from anyone else before we close out tonight? Well, if there's nothing else, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We did think Mr. LBB91 was going to grace us with his presence, but the sleep took over. And as we said in the beginning of the live, listen, ladies and gentlemen, sleep is so important. If you don't get your rest, if you don't get your sleep, it's going to mess you up. So that's the first most important rule about health. But we appreciate y'all. There was over 700 of you that were with us tonight. So we do appreciate you hanging in there. We appreciate the comments, the banter, the back and forth. We'll be back at it, next week to dive into the part 2 of the reunion. I'm not going to say when the next live is going to be because I don't know, and I'm not going to say. So we will definitely be back soon. I don't know if there's a men's panel tomorrow or not. I can't promise y'all. I know Seaway won't miss it either way.
I will not be
and
present.
Probably neither will Jay, but hey, listen. It is going to be what it's going to be. But again, we appreciate y'all.
I'll be watching LBI live, LIB live tomorrow. I'll be watching LIB live tomorrow, so y'all can do y'all thing.
That's right. That's right. The Love is Blind reunion is tomorrow, 8 p.m.
I definitely will be watching that, even though we ain't gonna get no updates.
So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Check that out. Listen, follow all of us, at our respective social media platforms. Jay, another round on YouTube. You could check her out also on Instagram. We got Seaway. It's Seaway's World. You could check her out. TikTok is where Seaway thrives. So find her on TikTok.
Mrs. Dior 22.
Mrs. Dior 22 at TikTok. You can also Venmo her some Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm still waiting for it.
Sophie. Your IG is that your IG at Sophie.inc? Okay, check her out at Sophie.inc. Listen, we got some esteemed panelists. Appreciate you all. JR was with us earlier. You can check him out on IG at JRXTV. So, listen, we try to give y'all some good content. Even when our good brother is resting, we come together as a family, and pitch in and try to, give y'all the information with our little spice and twist that we know that y'all need. So again, have a great night. Bless y'all. Appreciate y'all. And you are starting a live right now, Jay?
I just realized I could have linked this to this whole time, and I didn't know.
Oh, you was linking it. I was like, get ready to say hey, listen, join Jay's live because she's about to have a live right now. But please check out another round. Go ahead and like and subscribe and share on her channel. And please continue to support Little Black Book as well. We want to get to 100,000 in 2023. Please, 2023, 100,000 and 1,000 plus for another round. 2023. That is our request. likes and subscriptions don't cost nothing, folks, you know? So please don't be parsimonious with your likes and your shares and your subscribes. Be cheerful.
Can I say
Be
something?
cheerful. Sure, go ahead.
Thanks to all of the wonderful subscribers that go to war for Sean and I and all of us in the comments, and make sure that we keep this a respectful space, that we all feel comfortable coming up here, because it's not always easy to come up here. I saw a few of y'all saying that y'all want to come up, but y'all are scared. You should come up anytime. This is a safe space. We're always kind and welcoming. But yeah, thanks for always showing us love, because there's so many more kind people here than unkind people. So we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that was a good ending. We'll end right on that note, because we know we get more love than not. So we appreciate y'all. And listen, Kojo's gonna be coming to the US again. So y'all better buckle up and get ready. You know, DC, gonna be in DC probably late July, early August, and then working through the other states. So get ready, folks. You know, LBB is back on our shores. But again, appreciate y'all. God bless. Appreciate everything. And have a great night. I'm going to try to be patient with me. I'm going to try to end it with the videos that we love to see. But if it gets clipped, don't be mad. Don't be mad.
And thank you, Mel, for the super chat, even though Kojo's not going to send that to me, but I'll try to get it from him.
You can, please do. You know how Kojo is about his money.
I ain't going to get that money.
Okay. Good luck on that.
That money is going to the next questions.
Questionnaire.
That's going to the next question, Ben.
There you go. All right.
Let's go into the
So
question box.
first, this is for anybody that slanders anybody.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
And let me find our favorite one.
I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from.
So we didn't leave here with nothing tonight. We left here with y'all and a good time. So appreciate you all. Stay blessed and good night.